Felicia and Wellness Channel. You all may want to chime in on there because I don't know how well Facebook is going to do with keep me tuned in. Happy Wellness Wednesday, you all. Thank you all so much for the thumbs up already. For those you all that are chiming in. And yes, I'm trying to include Facebook. However, I'm noticing that Facebook is it's not doing what it normally does. I used to have a really good reception, not anymore. I don't know if they get upset with me for me saying find me on YouTube, whatever the case is. Oh well, I'm still happy on this Wednesday, and so like, share you all because I'm going to try to give you no less than about an hour. And yes, I am just thankful to be before you all again and able to chime in because, as you know, this technology doesn't always give us what we want, especially when we're not teaching or sharing a lot of the information that is not popular amongst those who are unfortunately not helping us to be well. Okay. And so, this today's topics. I was going to most definitely free range. I know I gave you all a bit of the how to eat to live, and I am going to continue on and off for this for the rest of my Wellness Wednesday, implementing how to eat to live by the original, the number one that we know of within this past 75 years of life, and here on Earth in America and on all over the world, the number one Black blessed elder that we have that left us how to eat to live. So this is what I have been led to be able to share. I have volume 1 and volume 2. Volume 1 for those who are still on meat eating and need to learn how to do this in moderation in order to transition on to the most powerful, most easiest way and most healthiest way to eat. And that will lead us to volume 2. I am on volume 2, you all. So no, I did not start off with 1 because I know that most of our people that chime in are well aware of the toxicity and how unhealthy, unfortunately, it is to eat the meat that we have here. I have chosen deliberately and wisely not to make it a great debate about our people that choose to eat meat, that's been eating meat all of their lives, simply because it's just not wise to do so. I'm about just informing us on what is healthiest for us to eat, but you have to make that choice and decision for yourself. And you are the one that have to determine whether or not this is the ultimate way of eating to live and just not to die. Okay. I personally, for those who always say, okay, well, what is it that you do? Because I know every day there is someone new that chimes in. So you all have to repeat certain things as you know how this works. So no, I choose not to eat meat. I choose not to eat meat. I choose not to eat meat for a few reasons. One, the industry is not one that is kind to our animals, and that death eating, I do believe that you do become what you eat, and I don't think that it is necessary for us to eat meat anymore. Now that I too have been raised like most of us have eating meat, and I never had a really good, healthy experience by eating meat. It was only before I became a naturopathic practitioner and health coach. Um, the outside of the taste and the chewing process of it, I've always had a conscience about it, and so for me, after finding out more and more details on how we go about slaughtering our animals and the fact that we do it too much and the fact that it's too much indulging in killing just to be killing and the greed, especially here in America, I've chosen not to eat meat. And so that's my stance. So some people, yes, they ask me, well, are you vegan? Well, are you vegetarian? And I say, I'm a nutritarian. Whatever is healthy and good for me, that is what I choose to eat. I would say 98% of the time. And the only reason why I say 98 is because sometimes I do like to experiment on other things, not meat, but other foods, because me, voila, being a cook for so long, I had to learn how to transition over. And this is how I earned the label Dr. Chef, because I've been cooking. My mother and my father were fabulous cooks and chefs in their own right, but not as much from a healthy standpoint. They were chefs of the Americanized, unfortunately, Eat to die, the dietary laws of American way of cooking. However, they taste really good at the time because they cook with so much love, so much energy, so much positivity. That does matter, you all, but in the long run, it does not promise us a long life. And neither one of my parents to this day, as some of you all may know, they are not living today. They both passed away before they even hit 70. And so I am one that God is blessed. I consider a blessing that He's given me the strength and some knowledge. I won't say all because there's no such thing. I'm a firm believer that once we stop learning, not just how to eat to live, but how to take care of ourselves and how to be the best we can be so that we can have something healthy and good to offer this world that we live in. I think that is probably the time for you to transition. That is when it's done, when you can no longer teach or learn that is good to help someone else. I believe that that is our purpose, not just to be, just to exist. And so that's why I'm thankful that I'm able to tune in to you all today. And greetings to everybody. You all know I love you all. And unfortunately, all you guys already getting started. That's good. Okay, do you have the website for a supplement? Not yet, Sister Wilkins. It's good to see you. Not yet. I was working. I had so much going on. People that was supposed to help and do all this thing, but you know how it works, you all. Or maybe you don't. I've been one that I was in the attempts of doing all those good professional things that would be more convenient for you all, and it is going to happen. However, I could not work with those who were going to do that for various reasons. And so, thank you all for your patience. So for now, you still call in or via text in to the 618-388-8100 number. I have it there already in the chat for you. That is how you place your order personally through me. You don't have to go to a website and worry about glitches in that way, okay? So but that is a work in progress when I pair with the proper ones that's not going to take advantage of me. All right. That's where we at. And yes, I am sticking with all Black owned businesses concerning this. Unless God lead me another way, which I doubt, then that's what I'm going to do. Okay. All right, Sister Naked Dr. Shell. All right, all right, all right. I agree. Meat and dairy. Said, yeah, I can't do dairy. I have like share you all. Please like and share that. That's very helpful. So others, it can pop up in the algorithm. Is the way I understand it. That helps for them to see it, especially when I'm coming in with not knowing if whether or not my YouTube page or channel is going to show right away. Um, and so that's very helpful. So I'm saying that to say that it had been a very very tough challenge for me. I'm not supposed to be before you all based off of how hard it has been to transition out of my home, the passing of my daughter, the passing of my mom. I'm not supposed to be able to be well enough, you all, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, to be able to come before you all, regardless of credentials, regardless of degrees, regardless of over 25 years of experience working in the health field, and then now as a naturopath. I'm not supposed to be here, y'all. According to experiencing everything that most people would not be able to have the strength or even the desire to even want to help anyone else because of the tremendous amount of stress and trauma that I have encountered within the last couple of years, and still was doing the work. However, I've been blessed to have a mother when she was here in the land of the living. May she rest in peace, Willie and Stokes. And yes, Mother's Day is coming around again. And no, I am not going to act extra spiritual and religious about those who say they don't celebrate holidays. It was not just a holiday for me for Mother's Day. My mother's birthday fell on the 11th. And so it was always about her birthday. And so I'm just grateful that I'm able to carry on what she planted in us, is not to never give up, never give in. trust God and know that anything is possible. And she was a songstress, so she would sing that into us all the days of my life. It was always an encouraging word. Even while she was had that iron fist ruling to letting us know how to be young ladies, how she wants us to conduct ourselves. And even though I'm the oldest and I have to make sure and then I remind my siblings. Nevertheless, she imparted that into me too. So it's challenging for me just to see Mother's Day as a holiday. That's what I'm stating, and so I celebrate. I celebrate. So happy Mother's Day before the date of the talk come to all the moms that's tuning in. Note that I love you all because God blessed me to have a mother to teach me what it meant to have love in my heart. And she taught me how to love another mother's child and just another woman, period, because she was a real missionary without cause, without pay, without anything. She was a real missionary and a real God fearing woman. Unfortunately, these things right here did not apply. These teachings did not apply to the way I was spiritually raised. Um, it just was not top priority. What was priority was family. What was priority is how you treat one another. And what was priority is that you operate in the gift and the abilities that God give you, give back to your community. And that is what my mother and my father instilled in me, and my aunties and my uncles, you know, the drill, my godparents and all that good stuff. And so I believe that that is the reason why I have this internal built-in spiritual strength from God through using them, my elders, to give me the strength to be able to come before you all today. Which leads me to you all, please send out a special prayer, like, share to my family, the Ingrams on my father's side of the family. Unfortunately, I have to report. Remember last week, I asked that you all keep my cousin in prayer. We were just a year apart from each other, went to school together. Toby Ingram. Unfortunately, she has transitioned as of yesterday. And so this week, um, I had a lot of emotions going again. Went in for pneumonia, and I have very special moments and times with her. Very sweet soul, um, raised in the church as well. Parents, my dad and her father was first cousins, and she was the firstborn daughter, and just a beautiful spirit, just a beautiful spirit. So keep my family, the Ingrams, in prayers because we indeed lost a jewel. And so I wanted to send that out. And for my cousin, if he gets a chance to tune in, Kim Ingram, her sister, her mother, Shirley Ingram, and my cousin, Pastor Lucius Ingram. Keep them in your prayers. We will be having that ceremony come this weekend. And so, yeah, it's just, yeah, pretty fast because there's so much going on now. And so I, um, once again, encourage to still teach this because it wasn't just given for my family. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote this book, he had plenty of family too. And many have transitioned on even before he transitioned on. And this is a universal thing, you all. It's a worldwide thing for sure. I wish that we lived in a country where eating from the earth didn't have to become someone's career or that it didn't need to become somebody's ministry. You would think that it would be common sense, but common sense is not common anymore because it seems to be that, yes, we have evil, wicked people in high places that have taken that the good of the land that God has given us for granted. And so, because we are very aware of that, everyone that tunes into this that saw the title, Happy Wellness Wednesday, we know what this means. This means that it is our responsibility not to just focus on what we would call the bad guys or the evil guys, but it is our responsibility to take claim and take control of our own lives the best way that we can and seek out the good in the land. Seek out and to cultivate the land if you can. These are the things that needs to be top priority, whether we are going to face a war or not. If you are not able, not willing to leave the country to try to get to a safer place, then that means that you are responsible for where you are now. And so there are some that's doing that and they're successful, and there's some that's doing it that's not, because it starts in the mind. It's not just about what we eat. It is indeed about where we are within the spirit of God that He's placed within us. I can never get away from it, because you can be healthy. Yes, we can. We can eat all the fruits and the vegetations that we want. But if you don't know how to treat your loved ones that's right before you don't treat your husband and your wife right, you don't treat your children well, then it does no one well, because these things have a major effect on us mentally and emotionally. I can promise you that, because I what my meal today consisted of a green salad with broccoli sprouts, homemade, all natural, raspberry vinaigrette dressing, with some fresh, beautiful bloom tomatoes and avocado in it, along with some chopped pineapples. And I had a few pitted real green olives with it, which is technically a fruit. And I had some pomegranate, some real pomegranate juice on the side, with water. That is what my meal consisted of today, and I am satisfied. I'm very satisfied. Saying all that to say, please like, share, may encourage someone, because I know every day someone is losing a loved one. And they may need this as an encouragement, you all. So please like and share. Um, and don't forget to prescribe if you haven't prescribed. It's for free. Um, that still didn't stop me from being sad. It still didn't stop me from getting a little angry, upset with the procedure and the process of what was happening to my cousin. Um, it still didn't stop me from feeling all different kinds of ways, even though I know that life and death is a part of the process. Um, it still got on my nerves. It still did something to me. Um, I just saw her for this past holiday in November, and still the same beautiful smile on her face, same beautiful hug and greet. Much wisdom. Keep her son in prayer. This is his year of graduating. Devin has been a straight A student all his life. Brilliant young man, and now he has to spend Mother's Day without his mother, only child, only son. And so I realized, that even though I did not like hearing, or did not like the way the hospital, or what I was hearing, the setup and knowing what I know, I had to think about it. Even though I'm eating healthy, our emotions, and I know it because that's why it's just me here now. Because of the emotions and the mental stability of where we are matters more so than anything in the whole wide world, where you are spiritually. This is not a thing. You can't get through the loss of loved ones back to back to back, or the loss of anything that's traumatizing or tragic in your life the way I have, without having God as your foundation. You just can't. No one expects for you all to be perfect. I don't think that you all expect for me to, but I had valued. I made a vow to God that when I came before you all, that if I could not come before you all, keeping it 1 million, I would not come at all. Meaning, now knowing timing, and that I could not just do this just for likes and shares. I could not do this just to make money off of YouTube. I couldn't do it. I had a taste of that already this past few years, and it cost me my entire family. It costs me a lot. It costs me too much watching and even partaking in the fictitiousness of this social media trauma and drama. And I say this because I want to encourage those you all that are learning, because I believe that a lot of you all are, and you never know. Maybe some of you all may be interested in getting your own channel or may have your own channel. I want to be that encouragement for you to be well within the mind before you come before the people and have to really um, answer, have to answer and have to deal with the side effects that come with thinking that as long as you get some likes and some shares, or as long as you're making money doing this thing, as long as somebody know you for a title, that means that it's going to make everything all right, that you're good and everybody else is ugh, they just unhealthy, when that's not the case. You still have to deal with everyday life. When I close this laptop, I have to deal with everyday life just like you. And how we deal with it, how we learn from it, it does determine how healthy your mind and your spirit, then your body is going to be. It will determine what kind of healthy choices that you'll be able to make based off of how you deal with your personal issues and problems. You cannot have one without the other. It will be too unbalanced. Something is going to show, something is going to fall apart. Something is going to go lacking, just like when we are not eating to live and we wind up putting ourselves in the hands of the death care industry, and they take another beautiful life that had a lot to offer. And so I'm just thankful. So when I say that I'm happy to see you all, meaning know that you all are tuning in and that you are alive and well, that I mean that from the whole heart. I mean that from the little bit of speck of God that He has put on placed in me. I mean that. And yes, I am tired. I am tired. Hey, but I cannot stop, because there's so many more people, their lives are impacted in a healthy way when I don't give up. And when I want to give up, there's always another phone call. There's always another email. And this has always been in me before I started to lose loved ones that did not understand or did not have the strength to practice how to eat to live. And so I have to remember that and remind myself of that, because that's part of my mental health and wellness. And I want to encourage you all to still to do the same. Even if you're not, even if there's no one that's listening to you, to do the same. And I have to remind myself of the good things, is that they know my heart, and that's all that really truly matters. But it's my test to make sure that I don't become like the Moses spirit and think that I have the right to smite my people for not eating to live in the most healthiest way, or for not knowing or learning in time enough how to heal their bodies. I have to remember that I am not God. I am not, it's just not my place. My place is just to teach, just to give the message. It's not my place even to judge, even though I know that there's plenty that's out there that are religious, and they're religious, more religious about throwing scriptures out there, more religious about hiding behind spirituality to give themselves the permission to judge. But come on, y'all, let's just think about it. Let's just think. What good does it do us to judge our brothers and our sisters? What good does it do us to really judge? What good does it even do you to judge yourself in this thing, when the side effect of this, when you don't listen and when we don't learn how to discipline ourselves, it is death. Ain't no better teachers than that, of knowing that you can't pick up the phone and call your mother. Ain't no better teacher than knowing that you can't go and grab your child, that you outlived your child. Come on. Ain't no better teacher than realizing that your mate has lost their mind and they're trying their best to keep it together. And the world don't even know it. And it costs you your marriage. But you got to let go so that it doesn't cost you your life. Ain't no better teacher than that. Ain't no better teacher than every time you look up on social media or on the news, or every time you do research, or every time you talk to a friend that works in the deaf care industry that somebody else has passed away. Ain't no more better judgment than that. No other. No other greater judgment than that. So I choose to stay on the side. I choose to do my best to stay on the side of just giving the information um, with as much wisdom and as much grace as possible. And now and then, yeah, I'm going to you're going to feel me get a little ruffled, but not a lot, because my prayers is always that every time I come before you all, or I'm able to, that it just helps to inspire you all from a deep place, from a very, very rooted, heartfelt place, to just to think twice. I know it's getting hot. It's very beautiful out here today in St. Louis. We thank God for the weather. So yes, I got a chance to go to the park, and I wanted to chime in there from there, but it was so breezy and so hot. I was like, and then I wasn't in a spot to be able to give a good enough reception for you all. But I am going to plan on seeing if I could do that for my Wellness Wednesdays, and that sometimes to be outside instead of here in the what y'all doing this season, because I just think it's just a better scenery to get out there, get some of the vitamin D to help strengthen the bone marrow, to help strengthen the hair, the skin, and it's just such a stress reliever. It calms the stress cells that, because some of us, we hibernate too much, and that can be depressing as well. And so I'm thankful. My auntie, my God sent auntie, came and said, "Come on, let's go to the park, and let's get out. Let's eat a little salad, and let's just let's just enjoy nature. Let's just enjoy nature." And so I'm thankful that I was able to enjoy nature. I pray that you all get a chance to do it as well. Maybe on your off day. I don't know everyone's schedule, but maybe on your off day you can make it a priority. I didn't really feel like going out after last night. I went into a a deep sleep for about a couple of hours and thought it was the next day. That's how exhausted I was this week, just thinking about her transitioning, because I'm hearing and seeing that the setup that they had, I knew that they were going to take my cousin. And so it drained me. And I said, okay, Father, I know I have work to do. I have to learn to practice what I teach. And I have to apply it so that I can be an example, a better example for you all as well. So I want to say thank you again for those of you all that have been patient, the few that may be waiting for your shipment. Thank you all for your patience there. It is not due to neglect at all, or due to, or no one's items have gotten lost in the mail. I do have them, and I think it's only maybe 2 or 3 that's left that needs to have product shipped. You will be receiving your product shipment. So I just wanted to send that out. And I wanted to say, I was going to go into a space of speaking about the meat, because this is the season that a lot of our people do go into barbecue and the things of that nature. And we don't really fully understand just how toxic, with the toxic meat that we have. Come on, let's be realistic, you all. You all know, if not you all, then for the family members that's doing it, even when you're sitting underneath these things and the smoke going into it, and the trichina worms are popping off from the pork and from the toxic meat. And now that they're given, what I call them Bill Hate, to come in and be able to inject the meat with the rest of the vaccinations that they were not able to convince a good portion of our people to take, they're placing it in the food now, and especially inside of the dead corpse of the animals. And so you all be very careful, even when you're going to the family reunions and you're going to the gatherings that your jobs and different places have, just inhaling those things. Try to get a distance from it so that it doesn't, so that you don't have to wonder why your skin itching and why you're feeling, kind of out of sort, because it has that type of effect on you. It's called the aroma, the term aromatherapy. That's where it comes from. It goes in through the nostrils, and what's connected to your nasal section, your brain. And that throws you off chemically because it's chemicals that's being released that has through that barbecuing of that meat and the toxic chemical, and all of it does not die. And the trichinoid worms from the pork, hot dogs, and the trichinoid worms from the pork steaks and the broths and all that meat that they like to cook. All of that is going airborne and simmering, and it's seeping down into the skin. Oh yeah, y'all. I can get real technical with y'all about what's really happening. I can promise you this stuff. And no, you don't want to be paranoid. And I know some tuning in like, well, we might as well not go. Yeah, you might as well not. If you want to be at that stage of being healthy and looking out, because at the end of the day, nobody is more responsible for your health and wellness more so than you. Nobody. Just social gatherings and the social things that we do. And I know because I've had to do it by example, there have been some beautiful people that I have been blessed to be around within the past few months. And I'm loving getting the chance to meet them by spirit, through their energy, through their love. Give a shout out to Sister Denise Muhammad. Oh my God, I love her spirit. She is most definitely feeling in like another mother, and that does speak volumes to my mother. I remember her praying, saying to me that when I go on, that I already prayed that God would send you all a lot of mothers, and that has. When I tell you, that prayer has been answered for sure. It's like every time I look up, when even though I have these elder women around me that are precious, Mother Sophia and her historical contributions to the youth, through dance, through Black History, and we just celebrated her through those who are on my Facebook page there. That's what the picture was of Mother Sophia, and she taught all different. I'm a pioneer out of this world, and they just take me underneath their wings. And I said, man, I know this is my mother. This is my mother's prayers been answered. This is my grandmother's prayers been answered. And so I'm saying all that to say that I've been blessed to be able to teach them and share knowledge with them. And I just love it how our elders they're not bucking. They're like, yeah, baby, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I remember when. It's just something about it. I'm sorry, just something about it just gets me going. That's more powerful to me than sitting at a table full of doctors and PhDs. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. It's more healthy for me, and more so much more pleasurable than hearing from my elders that have traveled the whole world, that has experienced. We're teaching this thing, you all, and we're trying to learn how to get to where they are. They have lived to 80, 90, 100 years old. We're trying to get there and battling through all of this mess, all of this toxicity that they have. And y'all, don't be deceived. It's everywhere. That, you got those saying you can take the person out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them. Y'all have heard that term? Hey, the unhealthy is going to follow you wherever you go. Trust me, I know. I hear enough, and I know enough people personally. They don't matter where you go if you don't work on that thing where you are now. Yes, it's good for the environment to be better. I'm not knocking that at all, but we have to start practicing it where we are now, is what I'm saying, with your churches, with your family gatherings, with your family reunions, with the birthday parties. All of, as we know, May is about to come, y'all. That's a very celebratory month. And then so is the end of April and graduations and all this. And before you know it, it's taking you weeks just to get your body reset again and your mind reset. And we're not thinking about it because we're thinking about the celebrations or the stress of how many gifts I got to get. No, we don't want to do that, especially for your moms that will be celebrating. My deepest apology for not doing more on the month of March that they use set aside to recognize women. But I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes I just really get chucked up. I really, mentally, that really messes with me sometimes because I'm like, help me out here, y'all. How you gonna give? And I don't mean this in no conceited kind of way, none whatsoever. It's just real, y'all. How you gonna give the very being that God has created to birth the nation 1 month to celebrate our contribution to the entire world? Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of went back and forth in my mind, but then I know they say, "Oh, just be thankful," because it used to be a time that they didn't honor the women. Yeah, okay, y'all. Well, I like to honor our women every day, all day, just like I do with mothers and fathers and our children every day. I like to give gifts all the time, not just when it's your birthday and when it's Christmas time. Okay. And so that's why a lot of times I don't get caught up in it. If for Black History Month, really? Month. We are the history. It is our story that has been tainted, that has been stolen. It's all ours. And I know you all know this. And you can't Jesus Christ that away. You can't Allah that away. We can't Jehovah Jireh that away. We can't Rapha Nisi that away. We can't Yahshua that away. And so I have to really take just a sit back sometimes and have to sit back and really think. And every time I get a chance, I sit down with my elders, they always say to me, and I'm still very humbled about it. They say, "You was a wise young lady." They said, "We'd never heard nobody speak like this before." They said, "There's not too many that think like you think." And I look and I think, no, this is just my ancestors in me. And I don't even like the spookism that comes with that either, because I'm very, very versed and very well knowledgeable in my own little right of understanding that we have taken a lot of our learnings and teaching, and we have dismissed it because of the different practices and traditions that we have been told that are satanic and demonic. And so, just to use the term ancestors scares, especially some of our Christian folks, because the way we have been taught. And I said we, because once again, for those who's tuning in for the first time, I was born and raised in the church all the days of my life. My mother was a true missionary, father missionary work all the days of their life. My step-up-dad was pastor, still pastoring. You can find him sometime on YouTube preaching his heart out. And I come from a slew of uncles and aunties that are missionaries and pastors too. So I'm very well, and that's ranging anywhere from non-denomination to apostolic Pentecostal to Kojic, Church God in Christ, to Southern Baptist, to Muslim, you name it, we got it in the family. So I'm very versed in that sense of understanding what have our minds so perplexed to the point to where we like to just take and hide behind religion just to not practice common sense. And I am grateful, very grateful and thankful that even though I come from that type of teaching, God always placed an elder there in my life, or a family member elder in my life, to say, "Young lady, Keep yourself focused on what's right. Don't let nobody lie to you. Don't let nobody tell you. No, follow what it is that God have for you to do. I'm very grateful for that. And even though a lot of our pastors and leaders and community leaders are not doing as much as they could possibly do as far as how to teach our people how to eat to live, and intertwining that with understanding that that is a spiritual thing. It is, because when you get sick, I promise you, you're going to start pleading out to a God somewhere. When you see your life flashing before you, it becomes spiritual real quick. I know, I speak from experience. You're going to become real spiritual if you're not ready to go. You're going to be questioning, speaking to somebody, and I promise you, it won't just be to yourself. I don't care how many of our people, I even have some in the family say I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I have that too. But that does not fret me, and I do not get in arguments about that either. It makes no sense not to. I understand, and I've been here now for almost half of this hundreds of years to know that you're going to encounter something in your little lifespan that's going to make you have to look up and say, wait a minute, I need some help here. And I see I'm not going to need, this is out of my control. Somebody help me. And God is going to have to send somebody to help you. Now, there's those who are so stubborn that when they realize that we've been what we call, can I get unprofessional, hoodwink, and they realize that, because I've been taught against, well, they Muslim, well, they this, well, they practice this, well, they practice that, we can't pick up that book because, and here it is, golden nuggets in there with somebody that look like you. Then you have to find this out when you're in stage 4 cancer. Oh, you're gonna seek a relationship beyond just what you've been taught. I promise you that. I'm encountering this, and I've been teaching this for a while, and I went through all of it, the mock, the ridicule from different ones, not a whole lot, but enough. And the silence is consent too. So for those that tune in, like, share, that thinks that I don't pay attention to the silence, and to those that don't say nothing, I pay very close attention. Matter of fact, I pay more attention to those who don't say anything, because I know that either it's one or two things. Either you're thinking about it and taking the information in, or either you're just listening and disagreeing within yourself. And that's okay too, because I'd rather you be respectful than to be disrespectful. And then you have to encounter not the things that I encounter, but then God got to really show himself to you. And then you're forced to have to make the phone call. And that's the one thing that I do not desire. I've had so many that ask me, how is it that you made it through this time, Dr. Chef, with losing so many people and going through broken marriage and all of these things? And I always tell them, by the grace of God. It's no coincidence that my mother named me after her middle name. My name's Felicia Ann. Ann means God's grace, and I've shared that before as well. My first name does mean to be a happy female. And when I learned how to finally embrace that just in my name, not just from a governmental standpoint, I realized that it was my choice to walk in that. No matter what test or trial come my way, and I pray for those of you all that name means something good. Even if your name doesn't mean anything good, walk in that, because that's part of your health and wellness too. The most important part, your mental health and wellness, which automatically equals your spiritual health and wellness, because how you think and how you eat and how you see your environment has a 1,000% impact on how you're going to feel about your creator, how you're going to feel about what's going on in your life. And it will take a toll on your health and wellness. It will. It's called that little nasty word, stress. It's called stress. It is the silent killer. And so that's the reason why you all to see me often. Those of you all that tune in normally that's been faithful and been supportive, you know how I speak by now. But those are others. There are others that do not, that will tune in later after this, and they'll be wondering why. Why does she speak like this? Why does she teach like this? Why doesn't she just only stick to the oranges? Why don't she just only stick to the apples? I think that those of us who tune in at this point, if you're led to come to this little bitty channel, you're led because there is something that's more divine in you, and that you are a chosen one that understands when it's more to it than just eating an orange and an apple. It's far more to it. Just to have a righteous mind, it can lead you out of a way of danger. I can't tell you that even though I encountered as many losses as I have since 2020, that I can't tell you how many times the God has spoken a word to me and helped me to deviate and to literally be led out of the way of things that would have been even more traumatized. And that probably could have even cost me my life. Because that's the path of when you choose to do things that actually will truly help others versus just being selfish to the point to where you can get good information and you can have a very inspiring type of spirit and only keep that for yourself. But see, I did one thing that maybe some of you all have done, and that is I asked and all that God not just allow me to be able to help others, I wanted to be able to help myself too. I wanted to not just be this small Black woman in her BMI and just out here showing how much I knew about health and wellness to the point to where it's only helping you all, and then I'm sitting back falling apart. No, I wanted to be able to get all of the blessings and be able to enjoy this journey with you all, meaning benefit from this journey. And when you ask that and when you do your best to live that, that's where the test is going to come into play, because most of our people aren't doing it. Most of our people, it's very apparent that most of our people find this too challenging because of where we are. And this is the reason why I refuse to put so much emphasis at this time on this wicked place that we live in. How many of us have been raised in an environment, in a home where you may not have had two parents, or where you may had to be in a very toxic environment and you still made it out safe? Now, just imagine if you had thought like Pookie now. Just imagine if you had gone through what your cousin, what different ones that may have gotten shot, killed, locked up, all these other things, if you had just given in to thinking that you would never get out of the project. Just imagine if you focused on all the things that you didn't have, so much to the point to where you allowed it to depress you and have you swallowed up in the system, or 6 feet under already, and you not have gotten a chance to learn that there is a better way of living. Can you imagine? I believe that everybody that's tuning in right now and those who want to tune in later have imagined it and already seen it and have already experienced it already. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. That is something to be grateful for. And it's difficult to be grateful and to find things to be thankful for and to be stressing out at the same time. You have to find the balance. You have to, because that's part of your mental health and wellness. It's part of your spiritual health and wellness. I have grown up hearing 1,000 scriptures quoted day in and day out. See, my mother and them took us to church 6 days out of the week, nonstop, because we were the church. We played all the instruments. We were the little singer. We had to do all of the work. We were the choir. We were the cleanup crew. We were down there cleaning the kitchen for baking fish fries and all of that. And yet and still, as a little girl, I remember still asking the question, why is the spirit of some of these people not right? Why are they still angry? Why are they still upset? Why? Why am I hearing all that? How is it that that child got molested? Why is it that this man is still coming in drunk as a skunk? Why is it that this girl is still giving away her body? We just quoted 100 scriptures to her. And that's not to say that I didn't witness many being, as we call, quote unquote, saved or delivered, but there were so many that were still lost along the way. Because even with that, there was a click. Yeah. And so I can't really get so caught up in the religious part of this anymore because I see beyond religion. I see it beyond. I just had to deal with it. This past couple of years, I still just had to deal with it. And I'm like, how does this not transfer behind closed doors? Hypocrisy is something. But we cannot afford to be hypocrites with our mental, spiritual health and wellness, you all. We cannot afford it. If you're going to do it, we don't have a right to complain about what the adversary is doing when he's using these other entities, wicked entities to take us out. What sense does it make? Why waste your time? Just eat whatever you want to eat. Do what you want to do. Treat the people how you want to treat them. Just come me for it. Just you make your own channel. Or you go to the schools or whatever you do and you just do it. Just however. Might as well. We might as well. You go off to another country and go try to mess up somebody else's family. Go on out there and try to make it seem like that everybody else is better than you. Go on there, go out there and plead, beg, and think that that's going to work. Go ahead and run from yourself. You can't run. One thing I've learned is that we can't run from these unhealthy mindsets that we have. You can't run from generational curses. You got to face that stuff head on. Military can't teach you that. Come on now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I counsel military people too. Got plenty of them in the family. Been married to it. Your career doesn't stop this stress. How much money you make does not change it. How beautiful your voice, how beautiful the smile. God change this. Each and every one of us still have to make the conscious decision because nobody is with you more than you are. Every time we look into the mirror, you don't look into the mirror with your husband and wife. You don't look into the mirror at the same time as you do with your son or your daughter. You're looking into the mirror every day, see yourself. You don't go to the restroom every time your mate go to the restroom. Only people I think that got the ability to do that is Siamese twins. Last I checked. Those who are conjoined together. And it ain't that many of them. And even they still have to take turns. And so we have to really think about this thing. My job is to give you all just enough information to intrigue you to go to the next level. To make this thing a really truly personal thing for you. Not to make a God out of me. Not to think that, oh, okay. Well, not to get fretful if you don't see my face. I do appreciate the phone calls. I do appreciate the love. I can feel the prayers, you all. I do. I mean, regardless of me, I fully understanding now that being super religious does not make us a healthy people. I can say that nobody can say that to me now after losing so many loved ones that were highly spiritual and very religious. No one can convince me of that. No. No one can convince me of that if only you quote a bunch of scriptures that's going to keep your marriage together. No one can convince me that money is all of the answer. I've had that too. No one can give. And the only thing that I am convinced about is that when you take charge and when you make this thing a personal thing, then you will see how well this keeps your mind, how well it actually, how just much more you'll be able to help influence or be an encouragement to someone else, no matter how big your circle or how small your circle is. I'm convinced that when you are that walking, living example, not just talking example, when we can see that on each other, that's the greatest impact that we can make in life. That's the greatest impact. When I can get that phone call and I hear Sister Jamaica say, "Hey, I'm still practicing how to eat to live 20 years from now." And I know I got some of my religious people that's taking brothers and sisters that tune in. Well, what if God choose to take you, in your sleep and you're like you did your daughter? Let me choose to do that's fine. But come on, let's be realistic. That don't happen to most of us. Most of us is going by the way of the hospital, the death care industry. Most of us is going by the way of being too tired, lethargic, or some drunk driver taking you out of there because once again they're suffering from a mental illness and the lack of discipline in how to eat to live, and a lack of care or some type of severe stress disorder to where then they're gonna jump behind the wheel and start driving crazy, knowing that it could cost someone their life in a split second. All that is mental health, you all. All that is mental health. That's mental health issues. I'm getting even more raw with you all. Someone asked me, Dr. Shelf, will you ever get married again? I said, and I am thankful. I'm prayerfully to help some of you single sisters that tune in. I know I have a few young sisters that tune in. I said, even though I am a woman, and I say this very humbly, that I've never had to worry about being married. I've never had to go chase a man. Never in my life. I've just always been busy and always worked, always had my hands full with doing work. So that may be natural for some other women, but not for me. I've always had my mind focused on just how many people I could help. That's all. I told them no, I have no desire because the work is so great. I am literally saying, if it be God's will, that's where I'm at. But guess what? I've always been there. So it comes easy for me. It's a oh yeah, but it's so many. Hey, we know what happened to you. We did we be. You such a great woman. Forget the lies. Forget this. Forget that. Forget the we already know. And I tell them no. And I was asked, why would you? Why would you wait? Why would you not? And I tell them because it's not about saying vows to someone. It is about your mental health and wellness and us choosing from a healthy place who to mate with. Not It's not just about being a YouTuber. It's not just about how much money you can make together. It's not just about how good you sound together. I get that I got it then. But now it's solid. It's concrete with me now. It's not just about who you can produce children with. This thing is really truly spiritual. It is a mental health thing. So no, I had to treat relationships now. I had to learn how to treat relationships after the trauma that I had to deal with and the unjustness that I had to deal with. That I had to learn how to get to a place to where just like I won't knowingly let somebody hand me a pork sandwich or a bag of ding dong or no flaming hot chips, I can't allow anyone to convince me that if they're unhealthy, I don't care how gifted they are, how well you can speak, I don't care how good you look, I don't care how much you say you've been in the way of the Lord, I don't care how rich you claim to be. Emphasis on claim. Your mental health have to be right. That equals your spiritual health. Because that can take you out of here, y'all. The number one most important decisions that we will make in our lives is how well, what you put in your body and who you allow to mate with your body. Because who you allow to mate with your body and get into your mind is automatically in your spirit. And it takes a major purging and cleansing for that. I don't care how good social media makes this look. You need to take time to do that, just as you would if you was trying to heal your body from high blood pressure, anemia, constant migraines, cancer. Remember, we say this is a lifestyle. You can't afford to yo-yo. The same applies to relationships and marriage and creating a family. When you do that malnourished, no matter how much money you make, no matter how many scriptures you quote, no matter how much you claim to know God, no matter how much you say I come from a good family, when you don't treat that the way you treat making sure that you put the clean, good, healthy things in your body, it's going to fall apart. Or you'll be like everybody else, misery, love, and company. We're going to be miserable together. Y'all, I rebuke that. Now that the church girl come out, I rebuke that. Stress is number one killer. I can't tell you how many husbands and wives I know that's in institutions that have mental problems. And they're passing it on to the children. Somebody's going to have to counsel the children. This is the next generation. I know what I'm talking about. I'm speaking from experience. This is the taboo subject that nobody wants to talk about. Your money and how much we hoop and holler, how godly we are is not saving the families. And us jumping from family to family, thinking that just because it's a billion people in this earth, thinking that that's going to make it better. That's not going to help you. It's no different from you yo-yo dieting. That's the reason why we can't complete nothing. It's the reason why we're still getting sick. Well, I was on this. I was a vegan for 5 years. And now I'm a vegetarian for 3 years. And don't get me wrong, I know it's a journey. It is. But we can't afford to treat each other like that. See, we got options for food, all different types of food. But just like when I read here in How to Eat to Live, part 2, he said something that was really wise. I pray that I can find it. He said that even if you get 2 good foods that you can eat, meaning 2 good healthy foods that you can eat, just like how elders do. You know, my background when I was 17 to 20 something with CNA work, I worked in senior citizen living centers, and I've gotten certified in Alzheimer's and all these other trainings before receiving my honorary doctorate degree in theology and as a naturopath. I noticed that my elders all weren't the ones that were living well with good spirits. I noticed that they had very limited amount of food that they were eating, not just because the stomach shrink as you get older, and because they understood that it don't take all that. Don't take all that. That's a sign of greed. I noticed they weren't greedy. See, I've never even been part. I've always attracted greedy people. I'm not just telling like it is, y'all. So I'm not saying that to judge anyone. I'm just saying work on the greed, you all. Because greedy person, when you got to have a bunch of cars, you got to have a bunch of houses, you got to have, and you're not using it to help someone else. You got to have all this money. You got to have a bunch of wives. Yeah, I said it. You got to have a whole lot of everything in order to satisfy you. You will never be satisfied. You got to always have a bunch of food on your plate. You're not going to be able to live long like that. King Solomon, if we just got to go biblical, is a prime example of that. You will lose your mind. You will go crazy. But because we're such a people that have been enticed and lust, have been forced to lust after that we don't have, and it always looks great. Grass always looks green on us on the other side, and we don't think about what it takes to maintain that grass. We get caught up in the pleasure traps. And that is the real killer, the pleasure traps. But if I can't have what my neighbor got, but if I can't have the food that I saw him just order or her just order, well, if I can't have the husband that she got or that he got, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know the hell that they have to go. You don't know if they crying themselves to sleep every night. You don't know if she's going to sleep with a belly ache or that man going to sleep with a headache, trying to go to sleep every day with a headache after buying up all that food. You don't know. So it is best to be, my elders have shown me, it's best to be content. And he just confirmed it in this book, How to Eat to Live, Part 2. He said just 2. Now, I personally, out of all the research and study I have done, I've never heard anybody say just 2, because I hadn't read this book in its entirety. I just knew of it. Remember, I was a Christian girl. We was taught you don't need nothing else but the Bible. When I went to college, don't get too caught. I was advised, don't get too caught up in the school book, in this cause it can take your mind. It's too much. It's a lot out there. They even place the fear. Some place the fear of us. Don't get too caught up in the studies. And I agree to that to a certain extent. But never when it comes down to understanding how beautifully and marvelously he made us internally. That's like saying, don't learn your grass. Mama, don't learn your baby what time it need to eat. Brother, don't learn your heart rate. You never know how many beats you're going to make. So certain things, you got to remember, there is a scripture that says that we are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. I find that to be more true than any other reading I've come across. We are destroyed for the lack. It didn't say for knowing too much. It said for the lack of. How many times, you all, have you witnessed or heard about somebody getting killed or somebody dying? And then later on, there's a discussion, a family discussion, or somebody said, yeah, well, we didn't know. But we didn't know she was going through that. Well, we didn't know the doctor had prescribed that to her. Well, we didn't know she was suffering this long. Well, I didn't know that I was anemic. Well, I didn't know my B level was this low. Well, I didn't know that I need to stay out in the sun for at least 20 minutes out the day. Well, I didn't know if I didn't. You see all those I didn't know? Well, I didn't know what they was doing to the meat industry. I didn't know that if I keep eating or taking in those fake vitamins from Walgreens and Walmart, that they could actually cause problems and cause me cancer in the long run and mess up my digestive system. All those I didn't know. So I'm convinced that that's one of the most important scriptures and writings that can come out. Everybody, y'all can debate everything else. I digress, as they say. I digress when it comes down to all of the other stuff. Because it doesn't give life. You can't be a woman and not give life. But more importantly, we should be women that give life through teaching, that give life through us learning about life and what it takes to grow life, what it takes to live life, how to eat to live. And not just food, but the knowledge of God that he set here before us, because it's many aspects to living, not just one. Even if you're not a mother or a father, there's always some child or some elder that's going to need some help. Always. This is what I believe, that the number one reason why there had to be emphasis on us eating to live. It showed us that, think about it, the most important thing that we would ever do while we live in this earth, in the bodies that we have, would be the impact that we leave, the positive one that we leave on one another's life. This is the reason why it's so difficult, I find, even for myself, and I'm still learning as well. That's hard for us to tell when there are people that mean you evil and not good, because you can always say or teach or share something good, but evil people do that too. They give you something in order, but it's not for a good reason. It's because they want to zap your soul. They want all of you. They want you to only be their servant. They don't see you as a real being, special human being from God. They only see you as a servant to them. See you as a little you. And they're supposed to be superior over you. This is the reason why I have these conversations and these talks, because I know how messed up the minds of so many of our people are. They even have a book out now that's messing with the minds of people that I already shared with you all that's tuned in. If you think about it, when I first started, I said this is going to be a season where people are going to, I'm seeing more cults come about. And some people say, well, it's not bad. Well, you know, that's just tribal. That's this. And no, I don't mean in that way. More traumatizing during the time that America and many other countries that's attached will be attacked. We will have to go through some turmoil. Yes, we will. But nobody is going to be untouched with it, because for those of us that's lived here and been here, that moved away, you still have family here. It's going to impact you one way or the other. That's the way DNA is set up. The spiros inside of your DNA will not allow you not to feel that. And for those who have been trained in the military and in all these other type of works to try to desensitize yourself from it, you're not going to escape from it mentally. You're not. You think that you are, but you're not. If that be the case, we wouldn't be having so many of them dead in 6 feet under before their time. You just have a different militant kind of way of going about it. I know. I've had to deal with that too. But I'm thankful that God allowed me to see it up close in person, so that I could fully understand why I needed to focus on the mind first, foremost, even over religion. Religion, remember, was formed, you all, for mind control, to control the masses. Remember? That was the purpose for it. So that, and to create division, different sects, different groups, for somebody to feel superior, for a small group of people to feel superior over a bunch of people, to feel like they're God or lording over the same tribe of people that's created such as them. Remember what it was for and what it is used for now. Am I saying that we shouldn't have it? I think that there are some people that need it. Some that need it because they see, because that's all they've ever known. It's difficult for their minds to expand beyond having a personal, truly personal relationship with their creator, with God. beyond having someone to speak it to them. And I know there is a writing in the scripture that says, how would the people hear without a teacher? Well, we hear now. We hear a whole lot now. We're past, we're beyond that stage. Everybody hears now. There is no place on the corner of the earth, none, where in every tribe, every family, where somebody is not teaching something about God in the way they understand God. Nowhere. See, before I became a naturopath and went into this field, good morning. Hey there, Sister LaShonda. I'm glad that you found me. I learned I wanted to become a Black history teacher. I think I shared that. I wanted to become a historian. And so, because it's one of my pleasures is to learn about different tribes. I've been like this since I was a little girl. It's not something that just started. But I was blessed to have a teacher by the name of Todd Yancey. I attended Lansdowne Junior High School. East End was one of the toughest schools that you at junior high school you ever want to attend. And yeah, I was known as a church girl. And I remember him looking at me, and he made it to almost 100, by the way. Walking upright. I saw him in the store a few years back, and I was so shocked. I was just blown away because his spirit was just a good spirit, a Black, beautiful father, grandfather, elder. And I just knew he wouldn't remember me because at this point, I think I'm 40 years young at this time. And I was 14 in his class. I think, yeah, 13, 14. So, I wasn't thinking he remembered me. And I said, Mr. Yancey. And he did. He looked down and he said, Felicia Hill. I said, oh my God. I was blown away. Because I was quiet in that class. Completely. I whispered a little bit with one of my little friends. And I said, you remember me? And he said, he sniggled. Yes. I said, oh, wow. He said, you know I'm about to celebrate my birthday. I said, do you mind me asking, how old are you now, Mr. Yancey? He laughed. He said, 98. And I looked. He said, my wife is in the back. She should be on the way. And I said, do you remember what you told me? And he looked and he said, I said, remember I said I wanted to become a Black history teacher. And I said, you remember you told me. You looked at me and you smiled. And he said, yeah, I have no doubt that you could become it. He said, but, he said, I want you to know that there's way more to it than what's in these books that they're giving you. Connect with our people. And I said, oh, that stuck with me. That stuck with me. I'm saying all that to say, yes, I'm saying all that to say, yes, Latrice, that listening to that and taking that to heart, I decided to not. I then went into college, did communication classes, a whole lot of other things, but I would not touch on. I did my own self-studies concerning, and I learned that through the many different tribes that we have, and it's thousands of them, you all, with all different languages. And I still find as many documentaries as I can. I encourage you all to do that. And I see the similarities of all of us. But more important, I look at the teachings that all of them have from all over the world, not just in Africa. Africa is not the continent anyway. And I take out the time and I study those things and I see what they're eating. I see their way of life. I see the fight and flight. I see what the different ones' abilities are. I see how our American so-called other white Americans go over and are so intrigued and try to figure out how they survive and how they do this and how they do that. And I come to the conclusion that you do have to have God within you and the tribe within you. You have to have a will to live. You have to have a mindset to respect family. You have to honor that, because that shortens your lifespan all the way across this universe, all the way across the world. There were so many tribes that because they believed in only focusing on the ancestors, that they drank blood, that if one of the ancestors died or when a loved one died, they believed that it was their place to go into other tribes and kill someone to atone for the loved one that they lost. And not only would they kill them, they would drink their blood. And this just goes on and on and on and on and on. Some of you all know, but there's many that's going to tune in that don't know. And this is all across the world. I come to the conclusion that none of us is better than nobody else. We're all creations of God. We all have a lesson to learn. Your environment does determine what it is that you'll be able to eat to live the best life that you can live. But you still got to choose that, because there are many, all of them have access to good green grass and fruits. All of them do, but many of them are still unhealthy. I wonder why. So many of them don't even eat meat, but they look like somebody was about to eat them. How you explain that? Some of them never seen a computer, don't know what technology is, but they're still outliving us. They're still smarter about nature and how to survive more so than us. How do you explain that? We serve a great God, you all. We serve a great creator. And you cannot put him in a box no more than you can yourself. This is the one thing that I believe that God has blessed me to be able to have in mind to share with you all, is to be open-minded about learning and not lacking with the knowledge that we all need to have about how to take care of our minds, our bodies, and our whole soul. Now, I know that's one of those titles that a lot of people have used, but it's always been with me before I even seen it as a title. Then some call that the Trinity. I'm not speaking from a Trinity standpoint. I'm speaking from a oneness standpoint, because you're the only one that has the answer to your creator. Whether you believe that's a God in heaven, whether you believe that's you, or whether you believe that that is this earth, you got something to answer to. We all do. So it is best that we learn how to eat to live and how to think in a more positive, creative, helpful way, so that we can stand a better chance to live life long enough to be able to share it with the next generation. And I mean to share it with the next generation, not to go to take advantage of them, you all. There's a lot going on out here today. I'm very fretful of taking advantage of young people. Very fretful of that. Of those of us that have more knowledge and more knowing than the poor. Very fretful of the things, the treacherous things that can happen to you when we take advantage of those who are less fortunate. Very fretful of that. I have not seen nothing good come from out of that. No matter how great we think that we are with being here in this country and having the knowledge that we have, and when it's time for us to spread that knowledge, us, and I'm saying us on purpose because this is a universal thing. It's not just one person who's doing it, it's several. I come with warnings that we have to do better, not just as Americans, but in the spirit of us thinking that we are superior over others to the point to where we use that very thing as reverse psychology when we go abroad and when we go in other places and when we're teaching our youth. We have to be very careful not to take advantage of them in other ways and not to allow them to make God out of us. I've learned that that's a quick way to hell. And I mean hell on this earth first. The other is questionable. That's according to how each person believes. So note that I know this Wellness Wednesday. Thank you. I know this Wellness Wednesday is different. I am open up and appreciate you all for giving me that time to express myself from my whole heart. Um, I am encouraging you all to get these books, volume 1 and 2. For those of you all that are not meat eaters, 2 would be good. You all know how to read and take in what it is that you need. If not, then whatever healthy books that you all have, get more in tune with that. Use that as your practice for this summertime coming up. Do more healthy things. Maybe instead of taking certain vacations, certain places, maybe you all want to consider taking some classes with gardening and taking good more nature courses and things of that nature. That would help out a lot because no matter where we wind up at, if we all wind up, those of us who survive this next 5 to 10 years, you're still going to need, that's still going to be highly beneficial to you because somebody's going to have to rebuild this place. And wherever else you go, you need skills. And it has to go beyond just talking. You need other skills. I've often thought about all the propaganda that's going and all of the predictions and prophetic things that's obviously going to take place here in America. I'm speaking to Americans now. That at the end of the day, we all quick to say how America is going to fall. And yes, I do have the book by Elijah Muhammad, The Fall of America. I have that too. You all can get that too. That's prophetic as well. So far, so good. Everything the man has stated has come to pass. See, I have enough. I don't have to rely on other people for this. I rely on my elders because their eyesight is so much better. It's not as tainted. So much better than ours. Yes, I mean, it's better than ours. Yes, there's a lot that the next generation can see through technology and things of that nature. But there's coming more because they grew up with the strong family units and more of a sense of community and not being ones that's hasty about trying to get something quick. They learned more lessons than what we, my generation and younger, have learned. They've learned more of what it meant to have patience. They traveled around the world when they were fully understood what it meant to be a real man, what it meant to be a real woman, by taking care of home first. And no, they weren't perfect, but they were surely better than us. They didn't have a cell phone to have to compete with their wives and with their children and families within. It was more, you all remember, I don't have to explain that to y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It was more wholesome then. And even if somebody got out of line, everybody in the social media world didn't have to know about it. Nobody across the world knew about it because we didn't have all this. So that means you were able to get some things together for the most part. The divorce rate wasn't the same. The children everybody wasn't locked up at this time. All the girls wasn't out flashing themselves. And you didn't have so many, even pedophilias couldn't even have the access that they have now. Now they can travel more, and now they have the internet. I was just talking to someone. that works heavily in this field, and they were saying how the internet, and I know personally within the past few years I had to deal with that too. And then trying to make a person understand that as long as you clicking on this computer, they got you. When your sins find you out, if you want to go that route. See, I had to speak that religious talk because they act so religious when they want to. That when your sins find you out, they're going to pull up this computer and they're going to show all your dirty deeds. And some say, well, nobody can judge anybody for it. Absolutely. But when you live in a land where there's laws and there are man laws, and you are doing and you are painting the picture that you are something that you are not, this you give the adversary, you give your enemy the tools that they need to take you out of here. It doesn't matter how much good on the surface we act like we're doing or that you may be doing. It doesn't matter. We all are supposed to be working on progressing to be a better person. But thanks to this internet, it has some people have not learned how to do that without becoming self-righteous. Some people have not learned how to do that. And it's made it very challenging because all of these likes and all these shares and all these comments and all you great and all you this and all you that, I watch it. That's the reason why you all don't see me. I say thank you and I'm good on it. And I know I got more work to do on self. We're supposed to see that as a stepping stone to encourage us to do better. Not to make you think that you are better than anyone else. Or not to make you think that you have the right to judge your elders. The elders are being judged by the elders. And then they judge the youth, the younger. That's how they have this system set up. But then now we got these laws that we abide by, and it's even worse in the other countries. You get what you can get by with here in America, you can't get by with in other countries. No, you can't. Once they find out, I know I'm not talking about, and some of you all do too. So this is the reason why we have to pray for each other, you all. This is the reason why we have to understand that it goes beyond that. These times that we have to share with one another are precious, and that we are supposed to be paying closely attention to anything that can take us out of here before our time. And no, we don't have to do that in fear. But to know, to have knowledge is power. When you know to do better, you can do better. And having knowledge and not applying it, it's no power. It's no good. And being before here, I don't see no power in us actually speaking. I just see it as an opportunity to communicate. But it means nothing if, as I'm speaking to you all, and nobody decides that they want to do better. Nobody decides that I want to eat better. Nobody decides I want to treat my mate better. Nobody decides that I want to make sure that I'm there more for my children. And that's a huge one for me. Because I've had to, along this journey, it took away some time for my children. And even though they're young adults now, I see the lack. I see that there's no room, no space, no room at all for us to ever fall slack in that area as parents. Ever. I don't care if your child is a straight A student and never gets in trouble. This world that they have to face like we're facing now, they got enough wicked stuff to go, and we can, to the point to where we cannot even say that because we're doing a work for everybody else that you get an excuse to deviate away from your children. That is your responsibility. That is part of you. I listen to my young people. I let them speak. I do. I let them speak. And they know what mama gonna say. But I let them. I say, okay, give me the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, I want to hear about your college, buddy. Yeah, I want to hear about this boy that like you. Yeah, I want to hear about what you ate today. Yeah, I want to hear about what Popo pulled you over today. And even though it gets something, it becomes something else to hear sometimes. I understand that that is my responsibility to make sure that I'm veering them into the best direction possible, and make sure that I'm pouring wisdom into them. Whether they show it today that they got it, or tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. The same way God gives us the opportunity while we live and have breath in our bodies to learn how to practice what we teach. But it's more expected out of us because we're supposed to know better as we get to the next stages in life. It's more expected. And we have to hold each other accountable for that, especially those of us who's past, who's I'll say past 30. And I say 30 lightly because I know we live in a time where the mental issues, where it's so much emphasis put on talent and abilities more so than the soul of the person, the heart of the person. You know what? You know the heart of the person based off what to a certain degree. To a certain degree. You work because you're going to get a paycheck. Some people teach because they're going to get a paycheck. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you want to do. I don't always want to work out. But when I know that my belly's starting to, hey, when I see that it's a little bit extra jiggle there that I don't want, I got to do it. Don't mean I want to do it. But for those of us who's truly passionate about it and we get into, oh, we admire that. And like, oh, yeah, look at them. They really practice what they teach. They really into fitness. Ooh, we get inspired by that. We're supposed to be the same about when we teaching something. Oh, I see. Yeah, they teach all the time. You need to read books, and they just done made it through 20 books. Now they're going to give us a session on what they read. Oh, I see. She really likes doing hair. Every time I see her, her hair laid. Ain't that what we say? Oh, is he eating her fruits with her? I never seen her, but she always got her fruits with her. She always got her nice salad. But if I sit there and Sister Jamaica sit there and she write a book on anything else other than the experience that she's had with raising two special needs sons, or maybe two special gifts of sons, I'm a question that. I'm a question like, okay. I'm working on a book too. But I'm be honest, I'm not strong enough to. I don't think that I would be able. I don't. My paper would be filled of water for crying so much for how much. So my hats go off to all of the mothers and parents that's able to write down, because I did so much jotting and so much writing during the process of having my firstborn child that is now transitioned. Every time I think about writing now, I get choked up. Yeah, I'm like, one day I'm gonna write this book, but I have to get my emotions in check because it was such a roller coaster. It was such an experience. It's so much that I figure most people ain't even gonna believe that I had to go through this. I know it because I've shared it already in doing mentorship classes, doing help segments. I've shared it and people like, oh my God, really? Some days you wouldn't sleep for 4 days in a row. You would only get 1 hour of sleep? Really? You had to hit your husband's chest because he got sleep apnea and then had to get up and run and make sure that she wasn't leaving out the door about to have a seizure? Really? You had to hurry up and jump into bed with the other one because if not, the nervousness of knowing that her sister was roaming around caused her to pick out her hair? But there are those of us who are gifted with being able to be strong enough to write about the very things that you've gone through, and it's a beautiful thing. I encourage everyone to do it. Just encourage us to be honest about it. Don't make it seem like it's nobody else's. Own up to that mess. Own up to that trial. Own up to your test. I promise you, you'll win more people. Let them know you was addicted to porn. Let them know that you got a pedophilia problem. Help save somebody else's child. Let them know that you were a drunk, that you had alcoholic problems. It'll help save another alcoholic. Let them know that you was a narcissistic prick and that you didn't do right by none of the wives that God gave you. It will help another man to understand how much harder life is going to be for you when you don't treat the woman of God right. Let them know, women, that I cheated all the way through my marriage because I just could not stand. I couldn't stand my husband. Let them know that I said I was a naturopath, but I did every drug on the earth that I could. Your testimony will help another one overcome. Let them know I was a preacher and I slept with 100 different women, and even the women that were married. And I hid behind the scriptures. Let them know that will help our people. That will make them to know that you're the real deal. That there is a such thing as true deliverance. Let them know I was a naturopathic doctor for 7 years, but I was only in it for the money. Let them know I was a missionary, but I was only being a missionary because I wanted to rape little boys, because easy access. Let them know. What else you have to lose? You already done lost your mind. It's the only way we can recover. We practicing telling everybody about how, I'm 100 pounds overweight. See me? See? I'm big. Look at me now. I'm 110 pounds now. I'm 150. I'm in my BMI now. Is that all we got? That's why I say this will never be just about food. Never. Let them know I've been a bully all my life because somebody bullied me. It'll help save somebody else from committing suicide, or somebody's child from committing suicide because they was a bully. Tell them why you was a bully. Because I was molested all the days of my life up until I went off to college and went off to the military. Many people are experiencing these things. Many. We are without an excuse, you all. None of us are perfect. We have to go beyond. This is the reason why religion have taken over so much. This is the reason why there have been a few men that we deem as imperfect that's been able to cultivate the minds of, because so many of us are unhealthy spiritually and mentally because of childhood trauma. Because of the trauma we have even encountered in some of these religious sects. Because of not just from poverty, because maybe you grew up in an occultic family where nobody is chastised for treating their children wrong. Nobody is. You feel me? I've seen it. I've been around it. I didn't just counsel it. I've been around this. I know it exists. I can't count on my hand now at this point, from the age of 15 up until now, how many people I've had to counsel in all different positions in life. With money, without money. With the PhDs, without the PhDs. Homeless, not homeless. This is what leads to us not taking care of the temple that God had for us, or either trying to overdo to the point to where you're stressed out because you want to be so pure. You want your mind, your body, and your spirit so pure and so clean because got all these memories of who hurt you and who harmed you. This is even the reason why I'm even putting 2 and 2 together. That this is the reason why even a lot of men, even though, yes, the women outnumber in certain continents and country, why they think that, oh, if I collect a couple of wives, yeah, I'm taking it there, y'all. It's not a whole lot of men tuned in right now. Like, share, you all. This is the reason why it was some. I know it got so deep to some of them. I lost a couple of them, but it's okay. The few that's here will get it. This is the reason why they think that having multiple women is going to satisfy them. There's been a great disjustice. I admit it, even though I've been hurt by who was supposed to protect me. I still fully understood. No relationship that I've been in have ended or marriage have ended without me getting down to the root cause of what's ailing you. What's really wrong? So that's how I was able to still pray for those that I had to part from. No matter how bad it hurt, I had to understand, okay, wait a minute, they don't have a really big system here that really helps our men deal with. They tell our men to chuck it up when they've been raped. They make it seem like this is normal. For a man to expect for our men to learn how to be good husbands after they've been beat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And after they already been denied from jobs and opportunities that others get handed to them sometimes on a platter plate. After they've been rejected by their mothers or by their fathers. And where it's not been much counseling, they've just been told, become a preacher. That's how you're going to get your attention. Become a police officer. That's how you take back control. Go to the military, let them shoot you up with a whole bunch of drugs and put you on the suit and teach you how to fight for a cause that's not even a real cause, not a just cause. That'll make you a man. Have as many kids as you want to. You ain't got to be there to nurture none of them. Or take care of them for a little bit and then leave the moment you find your niche. That's what make you great. Make all the money that you want to make. That's how you become a man. This is what they teach our men. And then when a God-fearing good woman come along, they don't know what to do with it because all of this detachment and all this just be strong. Oh, by the way, eat your fruits and vegetables. Now, we need therapy and some counseling. A lot of it. A lot. Need some true healing for the mental, for the soul. So our people will stop thinking that it's only in the gift and the talent and the ability that we have that makes you a good person. It's unfair. It's very unfair, you all. It really is. But I see it from every angle. And yes, the same applies to our women. Raped, molested. She prettier than you. You fat. You skinny. You ugly. You one-eyed. Your mama ain't nothing. Your daddy ain't one nothing. Who is your daddy? Well, I come from a prestigious family. My dad is a lawyer. My mama is a doctor. But you never got no attention at home. They always had you in the arms of somebody else. So you don't know how to connect outside of being. And we wonder why it's hard to resist that bucket of ice cream when it's just you having to soak at home on the couch, whether you be married or single. Go back into that childhood trauma. You go back into feeling lonely and lost. I've been there, y'all. I know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've seen more of my people go through it alone, with no good counseling, no real friends that wouldn't mock them, even family members tormenting them. See, that's what. See, you know he ain't got it all. You know what happened to him when he was 2. Yeah, black people, we done gone through a lot. Yeah, and I say black folks, but it's across the board. They just magnify our trauma more because we're the first. We're the mothers and fathers of the nation. So this is the reason why I say it's never just about food. Never just about food. It's just they just using the food to finish us off. And so yes, it's necessary that we teach about it, but we cannot leave the foundation of mental health and wellness from the trauma and from all these different religions and 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 whether or not you feel you are somebody because you got money or not. Oh my God, the most healthiest thing that we could be, and I'm gonna make it simple, is love. Most healthiest thing. When I tell you I have experienced some people trying to do some, not people, but a few that have been close to me that have hurt my whole soul. I have. I cried many nights asking the question, why me? Trying to go back and forth with what I did wrong or what I did right. Because I was a people pleaser. And I wanted to get the things right. I wanted everything that I saw that happened to different ones in my life, including myself. I wanted to do the opposite. I knew then that I wanted to see people healed. I figured that if God allowed me to come through traumatizing things that has caused some people to have a suicidal mind and some to actually take themselves from out of here, then that must mean that I was chosen to help heal somebody, to help us to rethink, wait a minute, you are not your problem. The problem was not you. But I am here to help you. I'm here to help you solve it. Know your worth, regardless of whether or not somebody recognizes you. Know your worth. Know that when he thought of the president, he thought of you too. Your mother going through the pain of birthing you is no more special than any other mother that went through pain birthing their child. They ain't thought about it like that, have we? Your father giving his sperm over to your mother to impregnate your mother to birth you at the appointed time that you were birthed was not more special than somebody else father that gave his sperm to their mother to birth them. Just because she wasn't afforded the same opportunities does not make you no less. And it doesn't make nobody else greater. That is the perception that they put out here to drive division between us. And I said all the time, I ain't seen it where there could be a CEO of a building Or let's take it, a pastor over a church. That church could be anything without having somebody there to clean it, without having somebody there to lay the carpet, without having a window man to put in the windows to make the building, to our architect, someone there that can help build that place. Meaning it took everybody before he can walk his suit into his suite. Somebody had to build that building. So that means the builder was just more so important. Now, I am going to say more so. The little man that's getting paid the least amount of money to make sure that when you walk into that building that you so admire and wondering who owns this, who's the CEO of this. It's pretty because somebody else had to make it that. It's elegant because somebody had to stay up all night and do that. Well, the restrooms are so nice and clean. Somebody had to clean them toilets. A janitor had to do that. Well, I like this home because this will smell better. Somebody had to bring some fragrance. Somebody had to create something. Just because we don't see who's doing the work behind the scenes does not mean that they're less important. Just because we can't see what all you're going to grow to be and what the end of your life is going to be does not mean that your life is no less important than the other. Just because somebody lives in a better country or have all of their family does not mean that they're better than you or more important than you. We're all going to have to face these famines and these wars. We're all going to, it's just going to happen at different times. So I can't say that a tsunami taking place in India is less important or not to be something to be concerned about when it happens, if it happens over here, or if it happens in another continent. Well, you know, them people are still God's people too. Just like we are. We are too. Everybody here in America don't want to practice evil. That's a lie. I know I don't. And I know I'm not the only one. I know some of you all want to see righteousness to take place. Nobody wants to send their children to school and having somebody to confuse them about whether or not they're a boy or a girl. Nobody wants that. Not really. The truth is, the people that's doing it, they're only doing it mostly because somebody messed with their head. Now, does that make it right? Absolutely not. It don't make it right. But this is why I focus on the mind. A grown man won't be focusing on laying up with no little girl that can't even, that don't even know part, not even half of who she is, if he didn't have a mental problem, some little trap little boy up in him that don't even know what it means to be a real man. Wouldn't be looking for nothing that's that young. Want to give them an opportunity to grow up to be a young lady, to know, to flourish into who God done truly called them to be. If their mind was right, it's not just about popping babies. If a woman had her daddy in her life, most of the days of her life, and knew what it was to have a grandfather and a father figure, she wouldn't be so quick, not too quick to jump and want to see every older man that's something for her to be laying up with, but to be somebody to get some wisdom from. Yeah, I said it. Same for us women. If you really respected everybody's son, you wouldn't be so quick to want to be with somebody who's 20, 30 years younger than you. You had a son, and you wanted him to grow and develop into being a real man. You wouldn't want nobody's grandmama jumping, hurrying up, trying to go and sop your son up before he can develop into the man that he is. Not if you close in your righteous mind. Not if you could even see even part of what that's going to produce later on in life. See, I'm speaking not just from what I see, I speak from experience. If you never knew what it was to be around people who was honest and told the truth, it wouldn't be so easy to be able to believe lies. See, I grew up around people that told a lot of truth, hardcore truths about things. So when by the time I made it out in this world, I didn't even know I I didn't even know people lie so much. I'll be honest, I didn't to the day it vexed me. I hear people, well, they say you. Like, what? That's the type of stuff getting me. But it's because I didn't grow up around that. I had a sister that lied and played around all the time. So I just saw that as a childish thing for somebody to do. Because she was always, and I'm just sitting back watching, like, no, she lying, ma, she lying. But she was so little. That's what I had planted in my brain. I did not know that grown-ups lie so much. I'm like, why don't you just plead the fifth? Because you got to keep lying on top of the other lie just to keep the other lie going. Eventually, the truth gonna come out, whether you like it or not. And I understand when people lives are at stake and you're afraid to go to jail. I think that's the case with a lot of impulsive liars. You done so much dirt. And I pray for people that's in those type of predicaments, because that's not, you can't free your mind knowing that you live in your life based off of lies and wondering when somebody's going to expose the truth on you. That's got to be very mentally torturing. Can't live life in peace that way. Or knowing that you lying on others and it's only a matter of time before you're gonna be a victim of some lies too. Especially if you lying on people that ain't lied on you. It's so many layers to this being mentally and spiritually healthy. The truth is, when you carry a lot of guilt, and I know this part I know, it makes you aim for something to comfort. Let me get some sweets. I just need to, yeah, because this calms my nerves. Let me pass me that butter pecan ice cream. Yeah, because at least the pecans to see, so I can, I can eat. At least that's healthy. Pass me that chocolate cake. Yeah, because I'm having flashbacks. I'm having flashbacks. Man, give me a whole bucket of chicken. Yeah. Because I remember when they wouldn't give me no chicken. They told me to go outside and take out the trash and do the yard work, and I came back in and everybody ate my food. Such trauma. Just all these different reasons that equals to mental dysfunction. But because we're just recently within the last 10 to 20 years of it being made to be 10 years popular for Black folks to get therapy and counseling. I'm just talking to my melanated brothers and sisters right now. And yes, it will apply to some of the others. Yes, it will. Yes, it can apply to some of you all too. That will tune in later. But right now, this is why I got to connect, because this is what I grew up around the most. This is what I counsel the most, is my people. Y'all, we got to get to a place, and this is the reason why I say when you call in for your consultation is not just about oranges and apples. I may not be the coach for you. I may not be the coach for you if you're thinking that I'm just going to stay on your hot dog. I may not. I've shared my testimony of things that I've gone through on purpose so that you would not feel like there's anything that you could say to me. Anything that's going to blow my mind so bad to where there will not be a system or something that we can speak about how you can get to the point of thinking more in your righteous mind. And you don't have to be afraid of thinking that just because I grew up in the ministry all the time, and thinking that I'm just going to be throwing scriptures at you left and right. No, that's only if that's what you, if that's what you are in your life. Our goal is get to the root cause, because it's not just about the ding dong. It's never just about the chemicals inside of the hot dog. It's never just about that. We are a very strong people. Trust me, it goes way beyond the chocolate cake. Our brain, it's our body's been made. It's obvious. Look how long we live off of eating junk food. Just the fact that we can say that we all that's tuning in, if you pass 30, and then you know how junky we've lived, how toxic this stuff, this chemical's been all out here since they've been pushing this hard since 1950. So if you're tuning in and you born before that time, then you may get a good you experience what it was to eat from the earth, even before the pigs became even more toxic than what they already are. But most of us, I'm almost convinced that most of us is tuning in and going somewhere between the 1950 and on for 10 now, and we're still live. You're still able to tune in. That lets me know that you're thinking, even though you've been pumped up with, some have been pumped up with drugs and medications all the days of life, even though you probably like me too, where you all got all of the school shots and all of the juice, and you looking up at the doctor and saying, I'm going to remember this. There was a little post that I saw where they showed the little cute little baby girl, and some of you all may have saw it, some may didn't. And they showed where the girl was staring at the doctor. The little baby was no more than about a year old, just as cute as she want to be, little black baby. And she just kept her eyes on that doctor while he's sticking her. Mommy clearly don't know any better. And Lena, just like I didn't, I just sense, but we weren't taught to go off our senses. Sticking her arm, and she not flinching. She just steady looking at that doctor. And so I go and I look in the comments and I see the people saying, yeah, she ain't gonna forget that. She already taken down your address and number. She coming after you for that one. But the baby wasn't looking mean, and I made a comment, and I usually don't comment too much. But I felt compelled. I said, that child's going to grow up to be somebody one day. She's going to come against that industry just like I was. I said, I was that child. I never flinched when the doctor was giving me a shot, and I'm not saying this to boast. It's just that my mind was locked in so tough on wondering why and what is inside of this. I was thinking that at 3 years old. I remember my mother taking me to the doctor, me and my sister, and she would let me go first because she said, Felicia, you're the strongest. And because I wouldn't flinch. I looked at the doctor, and I remember looking at the doctor right in his eyes and wonder what is this going to do to my arm? That's why I felt the pinch. But I wasn't going to clench because my mind was too locked into wondering why. What is this for? So I don't think that it's a coincidence that years later I convinced somebody just to go ahead and get them vaccination exemption forms ready. It's not a coincidence that my firstborn daughter was damaged by them. And I'm fighting everybody trying to explain to them in 1999 that, nah, I got my charts for my child. I see everything that they said that this side effect, this is the signs that she's showing. This is before it became autism. Right before autism, they gave it a name and a label in order to minimize giving us the least amount for those who applied for disability or SSI for your child. When they decided to make a little budget of the pennies that they're going to give you for damaging your child. or for giving them a worse batch. I was already fighting on the front lines, having registered nurses and different ones come, no, don't say that. No, we don't have any proof of that. We don't. When all along the others was fighting on behalf because they already had known, because it had affected their children. It wasn't until the actress Julia Robinson came out. Some of y'all remember, some of you probably don't, but I remember. And them doctors looking at me like I'm crazy. But I knew they knew better because now that little girl that remember them giving me shots, I'm looking at her, I see the same look. Like, I wonder, do this girl know what I'm doing? Now I'm a grown woman. And I see that look again. And I decide then, where is the exemption? Where are the vaccination exemption forms at? And then I had to go through the school system. And the school system telling, oh, what is she talking about? We don't know about it. I had a cousin at the time who was a Hebrew Israelites, and they didn't believe in taking them either. And she was the head secretary at the school at the time. And even she hadn't heard of the exemption forms. And I said, I said, you're a school nurse. You forgot now my background, cuz. I said, your school nurse will know where that form is at. She said, but I've been working here for 10 years and I ain't never seen it. I said, go ask your school nurse. I ain't going to no health department way across town. I said, they got the forms right there. She said, oh, okay, y'all, I'm just going to call her name. Becky. Do we got a form called the 105 form? She says, yes. Who wants it? Oh, this is my cousin. She worked for all 4 of her children. And by the way, I want one too for my children. Then all of a sudden, for the first time in the years of this school being there, nobody had asked for vaccination exemption forms in this little bitty old town. That's how I knew that our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because everybody don't have a religious church to go to that would give that to them. Everybody wasn't part of the Nation of Islam that could get the vaccination exemptions on. Once again, our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. So my children was not given any more vaccinations from that point the moment I saw the signs of what was taking place with my daughter. And even though I had family members that was part of the nation that was given all this, I didn't know that part about it. That was not something that was being taught about. I had not been attending the mosque. I had not gone anywhere. It wasn't being talked about in the church. Everybody was getting it. So this is what I mean by we can't get into a place where just because everybody else is doing it, or just because everybody else is sick, or just because everybody else is trying to deal with childhood trauma on their own, or just because this one got a divorce, or just because this one believe in that, or this one believe in that. No, you have to do what is best for you and your family. We are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. You do. Sometimes we have to be the one to be the pioneer in the game. Somebody got to be brave enough to step out. Why not you? If you're the one that's being made aware of it, that means you are the one that is supposed. If not you, then share it with someone else that is brave enough to do so. But by all means, practice what you teach, because we win more people when we practice what we teach, more so than what we do than just teaching and preaching it, just for people to find out later on that you're not. It's too discouraging for our people. So this is me passing the buck because I don't know what tomorrow holds. I've gotten to a place now where I've gone to so many funerals. Not more, thankfully, than I have the celebrations of people's life. But I've gotten to a place where I don't even feel like I've always known that tomorrow's not promised. But I know that tomorrow's not promised. So, just in case tomorrow is not promised to me, and this is my plight, I pray that I've been able to encourage you all to take up this torch. Take it up and teach it to your family and your friends and your circle of people that you have in your life. God may give it to you in a different kind of way. Just do it because our people need this. You never know. You just never know how many lives can be saved just by you being the one to take this as serious as it is. And if nothing else, you're spreading it down to your next generation. I said, I know my children know, and whenever I transition, they'll see exactly what our mama was into. Right now, I'm just thankful for them saying they understand. And mama, hey, I know you got this for this and that. I'm just thankful for that. I'm I'm just thankful that I have some children still left that are still here in the land of living. And so I know this was different. Hi, everyone. Hey there, Lisa. It's good to see you all. It's a blessing to see you all. I know this is different, but this is where I had to go. Um, because I know some of you all, and my condolences to anyone that's lost loved ones this year as well. Happy birthday to all of the, happy born day to all of the April babies. My goodness, you all are some strong people. Um, that you have a lot to deal with mentally. I know, a lot. And you are born leaders for sure. Um, man, but you have a lot to deal with. Born fighters too. You know how to stand your ground when you need to, and that's a good thing. But I know that we all, no matter what time and season that we're born in, we all need to learn how to take care of ourselves spiritually, mentally, and naturally. I'm going to leave it open for questions. If there's any health and wellness question, I know what I was sharing was deep. Thank you all so much for liking and sharing and for the likes. I appreciate it much. Let me catch my time frame. See, Facebook never came. Okay, there we go. I didn't know that this much time had passed through. Okay. So, no, I must have been really deep into that. If you guys have any questions, I'm leaving it open. I'm leaving it open. Any questions, I wait. Any type of questions, we can shift. If you all like to, we can shift, and I'll give you guys an open door to ask any questions. I'll ask for products. Yes, I still have colon cleanse, and I still have sea moss. I'm paying attention to you all. It is still $40 for each one. Um, I have the attention is still available as well for the calming of the nerves, promoting the calming of the nerves, and um, good for anxiety. Those who wrestle with autism spectrum, also college students. You know, a lot of testing is going on now. You all, I just had to approve a letter for one of our college students that was suffering with a lot of anxiety, and they have to get some of this because it's just been overwhelming for them. And they too have encountered a lot of trauma, some really bad things happened to them while they were on campus. And so to send that to them, and this is now $40 as well. You all want to purchase that, then you can. We do have that in stock, and I'm still waiting. And I have the elderberry. I have the elderberry still in stock for $30, and the rest is still in motion for coming. You all, it's not easy doing this when I'm trying to be cautious about who I allow to invest in me. Appreciate Sister Jamaica. No, we're due to have a chat as well. I appreciate it. And no, I have been watching, and so far so good. This is the real deal. I like to give a couple of weeks before I fully go into promoting another product. This is due to Zeno, and this will help where whatever credit that I get from signing on those who wants to purchase this vitamin liquid D, it will just help go towards the purchasing more products. I won't make a lot from it, or who knows, maybe. But it would just go into finding more products. So anyone that's interested in that as well, looking for one more honest investment. We put it like that, honest. That doesn't come with a, mm, you know, yeah, y'all. It's not as easy as we think. When people know that you're, as they say, you're good natured and spirit. It's a vicious game out here. It really is. Is I'm shocked still myself that in this field that we could, yeah, even try to even attempt to play games with those who are doing this type of serious work. Um, I'm shocked, so I proceed with caution. It's just water and stainless steel cup. Um, yeah, I proceed with caution, and I will be out for my birthday. Even though I know it's next month, you all. For those who all just asking the question, what do you want? The new little water filters thing that they got that turns around. I'm going to show it to you all. I try to get my hands on a picture of it. As a matter of fact, since Facebook wouldn't allow them to stay on, let me see. Can I? Because that one is better than the last one I shared with you guys over a year ago. The question to make a dry scalp for one of my sons seems to be a problem. I was going to try coconut oil, tea tree oil, and lavender mix, rosemary. Rosemary instead. Use the rosemary and um, vitamin E is what you would want to go. And you can do the Java oil. That's a good mixed blend. Castor oil might be a little bit too aggressive, so I can't choose that. But you want something that's soothing. The tea tree after a while will actually cause dryness, but it will initially, at least it will help to dissipate the scaliness a little bit. So I always mix that because it's too strong, Sister Jamaica. But I would go with the rosemary mixed with olive oil, or either rosemary mixed with bergamot for melanated hair and skin with a little bit of vitamin E. And take that and glaze that across. And when you are applying it, apply it while the hair is a little damp. Even if you got to take a nice white damp cloth and just go across the head to open up the pores a bit, so some of that oil can seep into that, because that's also too, flakes and dander is also a way of the body shedding itself as well too. There's some mucus, that's built up mucus within the pores, just releasing itself if you're not applying any oil at all to the scalp. So if you are applying oil and it's not penetrating, and you're applying natural things, and the reason why I said no coconut oil this time is because coconut oil is a low velocity oil. It's mostly made for a base. When you put it out in the sun, if they go out into the sun, it's going to backfire. The bacteria will ignite because the heat is not a high velocity, meaning it's not a frying oil. You go into the heat, the scalp will start itching, and that you don't want. I had to find that out the hard way. But even though coconut is beautiful, original cold press organic coconut oil helps heal with oil pulling and a whole lot of things, bacteria infections and things of that nature. Once it hit the sun, immediately hit the sun, it can the bacteria will backfire with it overheating and cause an itching sensation. So rosemary mixed with a pure grade of olive oil, if you can find that. If not the olive oil, with the vitamin E, Java oil, the vitamin E oil mixed with the rosemary oil is what I would recommend. If you find a little lavender, and that'll calm and soothe and heal from any stretching as well, if he's doing any stretching, that would avoid any alopecia or any balding to take place if it gets too bad. Did that help, sister? Did you get that, Sister Jamaica? Yes, I hope you got that. Let me see. Any other questions? I'm going to tune out in a few. I just wanted to make sure that out there, and thank you all so much again. I pray that it helped you all, the prayers there. Thank you all for the condolences of those who have stayed tuned since then. For the passing of my cousin, Toby Ingram. Most definitely keep them in prayers for those of you all that's tuned in later. Yeah, keep them in prayers. Hey there, Sister There. It's a blessing to see you all. Those who want to give donations, it's just got my Cash App information is still the same. Um, I've been constantly told that I keep forgetting to put it in. Um, yeah, put it in. That's the Cash App info. And for consultations, for an hour-long consultation, it's still very, very low. It's right at 75 for donations for our consultation. For 30-minute consultation, it's still right at 50. I chose not to go up. All the proceeds, you all remember, when you do invest into me, it goes into helping the homeless elders and also goes into helping with the disabled children. I'm building up a fund. I don't want to put up a foundation just yet without seeing what kind of support system that I actually have here for to help with our parents and caregivers that are taking care of children and young adults that are suffering from autism and from disabilities that's very stressful and taxing on the families and the caregivers, because I want to get to keep saying it because I believe it's going to happen. I want to get to a place to where I can donate and send them their things without them automatically be on the list to be able to send them their health care packages and preferably Sister Jamaica new book will be one that could be slid into there because we have enough to purchase her book to add that in there for those who all of our parents and caregivers and family members is caring for special needs children and young adults with autism and other disabilities that make it very challenging for them to be able to operate in a more normal way here in life with it's so much that goes into that, and it takes so much strength, so much patience um, for the parents and caregivers that actually do that. And usually it's only just one. I know it was for me. I was thankful my youngest daughter helped out a lot, but you can't really flow the way you need to a lot of times, or have it doesn't take away the ambition or the gifts and the abilities that the parents have, you all, when their children have been victimized by this system. And it is a victimization, most definitely, that takes place, whether we are aware of how they're doing it or not. That's not the fault of the child. And we're not to fault the parents for not knowing either, because most of us don't know. Just because some get by and your child may show conditions in other ways that you don't know that they've been affected, or it may happen later on in life and you're not aware that this is where the early signs of dementia is coming in from, because they had these shots, or because of someone is giving them a drug that has side effects that did not agree at all with their chemical biological makeup. That is really when we lack in knowledge in that way, and because of the communities that we live in, um, most of us can't help that. Most of us can't help that. And so that is what I want to be able to help, support, and fund. And I'm even open for anyone that's already got started and want to come on board. And I support you all to put it out there. And you can stay, give to this, that, and the other. My goal is that if I'm going to come before you all on this platform, is that I want to get to a place to where, yes, everybody feel comfortable to put up whatever it is that you're doing to help your community. And It's something that doesn't faze me. We're all in this together. We have to each one teach one. And we had saying when I was coming up, and Bishop John H. Pettiford, that I need you need me, we need one another. No matter what we say, we need one another. And so I don't want my sisters and brothers to feel on pins and needles if you know you have some healthy or community um, good positive things that you're really doing to help in the community, to feel like you stifle. Oh, well, I don't want to share this because I don't want her thinking that. No, that's how you get it out there. You never know what you may have. Someone else may need to may may benefit from that. They may need that in their community. They may not have access to that, even if you're living in a different state or in a different country. You just never know. It's just like when we shop, we don't all shop in the same place. And most shopping now is done online now. And so it matters. I'm about the building. I'm still about building, us helping one another to build. And I know some people say that that's a lost cause. It is for some, but you'll never know if you always quit. You'll never know what you can accomplish if you're quitting all the time, just because the grass don't look so green within the first 10 years of you doing something, or because of and that is the problem with us. I admit that's the problem. I I don't have patience for people that are mentally abusive. Where you're trying to do something positive and they're always saying something negative. I don't have much patience for that. I'm not going to, I refuse to. I just refuse to. I, I, I immediately get on my knees and start praying, Lord, please remove this person. And please, I got a forgiving heart. Please help me because I don't want to have to go off on this person. But I'm allergic to a lot of negativity. I'm going to be honest. I found that out real quick. I always knew I was, but you know, I just can't. Oof. It's one thing to be real, and then for us to get to a place to where we know certain things is hard. We know what, for the most part, those of us who worked in the communities and others, we know what our people struggle with. It's not easy, but when somebody has it in them to really truly stay in the nitty gritty of this, it is very important for us to show that we're here to support one another. If you're not willing to do it, then don't block somebody else from doing it. And that's the only thing that has saved some of the people that I know have some horrible ways about them behind closed doors, is because I know that some of the work that they're doing is most definitely needed, if not all, you know. But that doesn't mean that I have to work with them, because I know the motive behind it is not good enough. But that doesn't mean that some people are not being helped. And so you have to be wise enough to know. We have to be wise enough and learn how not to allow our emotions or jealousy or envy or strife to override us being able, those of us who's willing to get into the nitty gritty and make a difference in our communities and in our lives. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that, and this is the reason why I say that. So you have books, you have positive books, you all that you have, you can share that in the chat. I don't have a whole lot of following right now because I don't come before you all every day like I used to. It may get to that point. I don't know. I just know that I can't afford to allow myself to get so fixated on this internet, knowing that it is controlled by other entities. I refuse to allow them to control me mentally, emotionally, or financially based off of this internet. I just refuse to. I don't care how much money other people are making off of here. I just know it's not something to trust, to put all my trust into. I've seen the damage that does, and I'm now, I've been right here, where I had to shift, had to let go of things that shouldn't really had to. But because the emotional and manipulation and everything that comes, the fictitious mindset that comes with this internet and how us doing these things like this and actually thinking that we can make this our God, and people say that it's not, but it is. It is. It is because it's the easiest way to connect to those who have this type of connection. It's the quickest way. You don't have to spend money to take a flight. You don't have to spend money to travel. You don't have to spend. You click it on. You just got to make sure that you have some internet connection. So yes, that's very addictive. It's just as addictive as picking up that cell phone once you pay that cell phone bill and da 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 da. Can I speak to you? So a person saying that they're not addicted, they're lying. If that be the case, you wouldn't be on here at all. You wouldn't be on there a lot. There is an addiction there. See, I'm a realist when it comes down to that. And I don't mean a realist where like everybody just say it just to, I'm a real. Nah, I mean that in the sense that I see things for what it really is. And once I see it for what it really is, I don't like playing mind games with myself or with the people that I'm speaking to and making them try to think that it's something else that it's not. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And so, while we have it, though, we need to take advantage of utilizing what it is here for. And that is to get positive information out here and even to give a warning to our people. Thank you so much, Sister Yolanda, for the Cash App. I appreciate it. That was the first time I seen that thing come across there. I'll be honest. I'm going to tell you, as I'm talking about not being addicted to the witch card, that was the first time I seen that actually. Thank you for the Cash App, Sister Yolanda. I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, so that is, I can't say anymore, you all. I'm really any other more questions? Because y'all know me, I got books that I can read. Y'all might as well just start recording some stuff and just give me back the book out of all the speeches that I have. For those of y'all that are talented with this technology, I'm putting it out there now. Putting it out there now at the end of this session. After 2-3 hours, I'm putting it out there. Now I can record it, make the book out, and then we can split the proceeds. I'm serious. Because I know I've said some things that has helped me based off of you all telling me. And bless the hearts of everybody. I really mean it from my whole heart. Bless everyone, all of you all that are really truly praying for me and my family, and that can see just how tough this has been, um, and that empathize from the heart, uh, but that has that knows that this is challenging. So I don't turn down no good positive help that is not tied to anything manipulative. But I'm one that when you do right by me, I love having the opportunity to shock people and say, "Yay, you know what? I got your stuff told up there because we kept hearing you say you got all this computer savvy, and now you got to make time to go and do all this. But since you were brave enough and passionate enough and compassionate enough to actually do this, we're gonna print this out because we found some nuggets in something that you were saying, and we put this together here for you." And I'm like, "Okay, what percentage you want? Come on now, we in it. I don't want nothing." "Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Name it. We got this." That's how I am, and I can't help it. It's old school. Um, I, it's been the blessing in my life. I can go to sleep. I can rest well when I know that I've been fair and that I've been just, because I know what it is to be uh, on the end where injustice is taking place. I know that more so than ever before, and especially in this past few years, I've learned what that really feels like, and I've had to think about, oh my goodness, man, is this what people are going through, and have, oh, okay, now I understand why this person is in what we call growing up the cuckoo house. Now I see why they got to keep getting all these antidepressants. And so my heart, even though it went out then, and I was already ministering and counseling then, when you have to go through it yourself, it is very, very true. Becomes even that more so real to you, and it becomes challenging not to be more of a help to people when you can be. So yeah, so that's why I'm at, y'all. Okay, if there's no more questions, answers, I'm not gonna make y'all just sit here and look at me and not look at. I look forward to adding some more things here. Um, oh, bless your heart, whoever that was, to just sent me another cash app. I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. That'll mean something to go towards shipping and handling. I'm serious, y'all. This is not an easy thing when you turn down what looks to be good opportunities, but it's tied to some wickedness. That's not an easy plow because I can easily justify and say, oh well, because if I can I keep it 1 million with y'all? It's easy to say, well, this is to help the people, and you know, well, all money is filthy money. You know, yeah, it's easy to say that and be like, oh, thank you, Sister Jamaica. That was you. I didn't know that was you. Okay, bless your heart, Sister Jamaica, Sister Yolanda. Um, it's easy to justify when you're doing something good, or when you finna use something for a good cause. But when you really have a conscience like I do, and you find and you know what that you know that you know that that this person's going to use this as for something that's really evil. I can't attach my name to it. I just can't. I can't attach my name to it. I just can't. They're like, well, drug dealers give to churches all the time. I'm not the church. I'm not the church. I'm not the church. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody else's church. I said, when you got a conscious, and when you know what people are using things for, and then they try to throw you, act like they're doing you a favor or trying to help you because they know by attaching them to your name and to you and to what your cause is, it makes it look like they good to go, that their agenda is just as pure. I cannot do that. And there's a lot of that going on around here, y'all. So that's the reason why I say if I have to be like the turtle in this, the main important thing is that I finish this race. The hare gets there real fast. There's also the reason why the hare is usually the first one to get killed. Oh, my mom made me laugh because it's not funny. But I was just thinking, I was just visualizing how microwavable they have our generation to focus on, especially with us being in this technology area where we can't really see. Not you really truly can't see beyond the dollar. We really can't see beyond. Oh, okay. Oh, well, that looks better to me. You really can't see. The eyes, if they say if the eyes be blind, it's because we have allowed it to be blinded based off of the things and the perception that we see. But I can't afford. And such as some of you all probably can't either. You can't afford to have yourself attached to things that are not good. And even though I work with different ones here now, and I know that certain things are not right, it's not anything. See, I have a limit. Anything that harm children. It's real simple. Or anybody that's taking advantage of women, disabled people, my elders. It's just that simple. Now, find out you're doing that, I can't work with you. And if it's me, you shouldn't be working with me either. I cannot do it. My conscience will not allow me. I don't care. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it again. Because hey, that way they said, well, that's the reason why you not getting what. Oh well, I just won't have it then. I just won't have it then. But see, I've lived here long enough to know that my time will come. My time will come. My job is to keep my heart in the right place, just as it is for you. Doing the right thing is never easy. And if you've ever been a part of some mess, and you ever been a part of seeing what's behind the veil, yeah, then you understand exactly what I'm saying. I'd rather walk that hard road and not just talk about it or make it seem like I have, but no, actually do it. I can't lift up another man that I know that is not truly for family and that's busting up people's families. Or just because they got a lot of likes. So thank you for the cash app, Sister Lisa. Appreciate it. I can't lift up another man just because they're popular, or another woman, and just because it's going to get me a bunch of likes. I can't do it over my elders that I know my sickness. Can't do it. You bring curses upon yourself like that. Thank you all so much. You all have been a blessing. Thank you all so much for the cash apps. I appreciate it. I can't, I cannot do that. I can't sleep. I don't know about y'all, but I can't sleep. I cannot sleep knowing that I'm putting those who are practicing a lot of evil deeds, and just because they come before these platforms and make it look like they're not, and I know none of us are perfect, but there are plenty of us that know better. When you get to a certain age, accountability in this thing, we are the expectations is greater, and the standard is supposed to be set a little higher. Yeah, yes, it does. I cannot do that just because you're not popular. And it doesn't mean nothing that I turn down 100 of the other bad guys just for me to still take up with another bad guy. It don't mean nothing for me to sit there and say I cannot deal with this pastor when I know that I'm dealing with another pastor that I know that's got a whole lot going on with take advantage of our young people. See what I'm saying? No, be fair all the way across the board. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Ain't that what we used to say? Ain't that what our elders used to say, Angela? How you doing? So good to see you. Can you tell me what to do for something called frozen shoulder? Oh, huh? Oh, arthritis. They're thinking of everything to cause anytime when there is circulation, when there is a blockage in circulation that's taking place, Sister Angela, in the shoulders, that is meaning that there is inflammation that's located in that particular area. And it also can be stress related. I would like to have more information on what actually is taking place with you as far as if you're on any prescription drugs, or if you have any diagnosis of arthritis, anything like that, that would be very much more helpful to me. Muscular sclerosis, if you have any prior injuries, that helps for me to know, to let you know just how aggressive, just how tedious of, not so much tedious, but how much more simpler we need to address the frozen shoulder. But that can only happen in the midst of, I need to know whether or not it's muscular or where it's coming from the bone marrow. So I do recommend that if you want to set up a consultation, or email me at drshelfhealthandwellness@gmail.com, or either you can call in at the 618. If you go up the chat, you'll see the number for a health consultation for that. The externals that I usually use, if it's something that causes a stiffness inside of the muscles and shoulders and bones, I'm big on using what they call the tiger balm. Give me 1 second here. Let me show you. Now, these are not my brand. You can get these anywhere. You can get these, actually, believe it or not, now I will say Walgreens and your local pharmacists do sell these, but here's the super strength one. Try the external. Don't go out in the sun right away because it's loaded with cloves and all different type of spices that'll reduce that inflammation. But I know that Dr. What's the guy name? The one guy, the black guy, that was a surgeon, a surgical doctor. I believe he was an ER doctor that's going viral now. He has another reduced inflammation type of he has a liquid. I'm curious to hear somebody. Thank you so much for the cash app. He has another what is that guy's name? I said I posted him before. I need to take my own mental boost, y'all. I didn't take none today. Let me see. He's been going viral. The doctor. Me 1 second. Give you his name. I just saw him advertising. I just want for somebody to tell me how well it works. So that's the reason why I'm going to share it with you. If you want to look into it. Yeah, he's all over. He's gone. He's turned into a naturopath now. 1 second here. Any other questions? Why I look up this brother for her? I can't believe I forgot his name that fast. I don't watch him all the time, but I did see where he had. Oh, I see y'all key already out there. If he got his seeded grapes on there. Yep. But they on that seeded grapes. I just wish that we had a little code to be a little bit more wise about how we put it out there, because y'all know, especially in the poor communities and in the black communities, when we say what's healing our people body, I wish that we had a way that like our ancestors used to do back in slavery days, where you know how they support in our hair, y'all. I'm putting it out here on purpose, to show how they could get to the different underground railroads. That well, we know how to speak our own code. We need to think of another Ebonics language for that, you all, because I don't believe that it's wise for us to constantly say out here on the our ways what's really truly healing our people. Because y'all, that's the first thing you're gonna do is pull it. You're gonna take it off the shelf. They'll be able to see it when we bind it up. If not, if don't none of us take it start growing it for ourselves, like seeded grapes, mango trees, olive trees, lemon trees. We don't apple trees. Yeah, all these different fruits and things that. Oh, there you go, Bobby Price. He has his own new reduce inflammation and boost your health environment. Yeah, Bobby Price is his name. Sister, he has a reduce inflammation out now as well. I'm sure it's good because they're very articulate. He just paired up with another cardiologist that's a naturopath as well, and I'm sure it should do well. I'm looking to produce mine real soon too. Um, just have to wait. This is the process, you all. But meanwhile, I think they shouldn't go there. I have not had any negative reports from those who have tried any of his things that he has. But because they're so big on heart health and arthritis and the internal parts of the body, and they also, like myself, come from working in the medical field, I tend to trust those naturopathic doctors more with my health and wellness, not just people that's randomly putting things out. And that's not to say that anything that any of our other herbalists or health gurus have don't work. It's just that I know that experience really, really matters as far as how um, um, how critical and just how much more important it is to us to make sure that we're giving you the good stuff. When we have worked in that death care industry for years, then we change over to the naturopathic, and not because it's the money. that right there, we tend to put more passion into how our product lines and what it is that we're trying to give for longevity, for the care and the nurturing and the healing of our people's bodies. Now, that's what I have noticed. Um, and so that's why I would say I would recommend you to look up Dr. Bobby Price. He has his own reduced inflammation out now too, and I believe that it would be really good. And if you want something um, for stiffness in the shoulder, if you haven't dislocated it, make sure that you haven't dislocated it. And then I would also recommend that if you have not seen a chiropractor, please go to a chiropractor and see and get the opinion of the chiropractor of how to deal with to see if there's some type of adjustments or things that they can do to help as well if you haven't already. Okay, I pray that that answered your question. Living in the moment. I love the name. Hey there. Hey, how you doing? Now, who is that that's living in the moment? Who is that? She said, "Hey, sis." So it's got to be somebody that I know. No, I'm trying to see. I can't see your picture from there, living in the moment. But when you say, "Hey, sis," I know that means it's somebody I go way back, or either that's been close to me. I know I can't make out it when you guys have these good titles that you tune into, and I'm so thankful. Let me say this: I am thankful. I know when I probably say it's probably when somebody will come out with some wacky, but it don't matter. Um, Everybody that comes on, I notice I'm attracting very positive titles, and so that's been a blessing. Um, I'm not attracting men that comes on with illicit things or women that seems to have integrity and respect about themselves. That's a beautiful thing because I know that that matters because the algorithm gives you whatever you put into this computer. I know that much. Um, and so that's a blessing because we got so much out here, y'all. Y'all already know. I don't even have to tell y'all. Y'all see what I see, and so I'm like, that's a beautiful blessing. I don't have to feel the need to correct anybody because something is looking too demonic or they come in a lot of trolls. I don't have a lot of that, and I do believe that that's because those who have tuned in, you've heard my heart in the matter and know that this is not a game at all and know you're not going to get me revved up. You just might have to experience a deletion. But preferably, I don't have to get to that place. I really pray that I don't because sometimes, that is just a true sign of mental illness, or could this be someone that's really trying to come over or to test you to see where you are psychologically? See, and I've learned that that bothers people a lot too when that's something that they wrestle with. And that's just not something that I wrestle with. All praises be to God for that. Um, but yeah, I pray that that helped. My test is tomorrow for breast cancer. Oh, Sister Stormy, you all here. She said, you all said a prayer for Sister LaShawn. And have you, Sister LaShawn, have you been able to use any type of herbs at all for breast cancer? Because I think I did come across one of your messages, I think on Instagram, but I've had so much to flood me since then. And so I'm glad you said something again. And that's what I mean, charge it to my head, not to my heart and my tight schedule. But yes, I'm glad you said something again. Okay. Um, Call in, Sister LaShawn. I got a lot going in, but tomorrow. Um, and thank you, sisters, for sending the cash out. I want to give you a free consultation. Call in to me if you can tomorrow. Um, let's set up a time, okay? Let's set up a time for you. Um, yeah, because I want to know what's going on there, and if you're going to go the route and they're not going to get the thermogram versus the regular testing, I want to know how that's going for you. I will ask them, yes, let me know how you're eating, if you're using any herbs, Got quite a few suggestions that I can do at 9 a.m. Okay, I understand. If you get up earlier, you can call me even beforehand if you like. It's up to you. Because, of course, the earlier is better for me. Thursday, yeah. I do know I have a session at 10 a.m. So, but I don't have one at 8 a.m. It's up to you. Do it at your discretion. I know that's nerve wracking. So yeah, call in too. I want to make sure that you're okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, sis, and you most definitely be in my prayers. But, yes, thank you so much, Jamaica, sending her prayers out to you all. Keep Sister LaShawn Derman in your prayers. And yes, I want to offer you a free consultation, okay, to make sure that we getting you started off in the back on track in the right direction, okay. Okay, that'll work. If you don't get through the first, you know what? Let me see Instagram. Let me, Sister Jamaica. Is there any way? I'm just asking. Is there any way that you can give her the other direct number so that I'm not putting that out on the public? The other one that I have for consultation. Is there any way that you all can friend each other, or are you on Facebook, Sister LaShawn? Are you on Facebook? If you're on Facebook, then I can message you and the other number that do consultations on. That's a private line that's set aside for consultations. But when you all are tuning into the 618-388-8081, that's to set up or to state if whether or not you want to order some things. But those who have gotten their health consultation know that once I see that, then I speak to you all on the 314 number, because I have to keep that line clear as much as possible. I want her to have that number. Yeah, because sometimes the 618 number before, that's the reason why I tell people that if you don't get answered in the first 24 hours, go ahead and tune back in again. If it's urgent enough and important enough, do that. Okay. Thank you all so much for the likes and shares. I'm going to, if not anyone else, because I know there are different people that tune in for different times. If some people are off work, then I get it. I've stayed on long enough. It's good to know that most everybody stayed in. But I know I've been on for a while on purpose. Um, Oh, I got a lot of chests showing open there on that screen. I'm looking at here. I didn't know that was going to pop. Oh, I'm sorry. When little church girl came out a little bit there, y'all. Okay. My mama used to always be pulling at her top. And she was blessed with brazour. Did I say that right? She was, she was, she was blessed with the endowment. Can I say it that way? Okay. I'm going to be good, y'all. I've been doing good so far, I haven't. Let me see. Yes, and CMOS. It's a couple of things we have to get you up and going. That's my number. Let me check. Let me double check to make sure that I still have you in this other number, Sister. Look, this has been a minute before I get off here because I know I have work that I have to do. Okay, yes, I do see you. Yay! You popped right up from your last consultation. I see you. Okay, okay. So you have my okay here. I'm getting ready to. Does it start with 202, Sister LaShawn? I'm getting ready to text you the other number. So, Sister Jamaica, it's okay if you didn't get it. I mean to try to put you to work. But yes, yeah, I see it. I still had you in there. Wow. These phones can hold some stuff, I tell you. Yeah, because it doesn't show up in my regular feed here. Got one of those phones. Okay. Let me know if you got it. Now, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all and the cash apps and the support. I appreciate you. All my beautiful sisters. Y'all know y'all the stuff. Let me stop. Look, I say that. Look, I can't. I never know. Well, you know what? I will admit. And shout out to all my brothers, Brother Marvin, different ones who's gonna tune in later. I have to give a good shout out to them. Um, I have some really good supportive brothers that are a blessing, you all, that is very protective over me, that you would think that they were my blood brothers because of the way they are and how they keep me in check. I said, boy, you gotta watch what you pray for sometimes. You just might get it. They not let me go to they not let me go to sleep on nothing. They like, nope, we not taking. You have to nope. Hey, you our sister, you the queen. You nope, 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 nope. They not playing. Uh, and then they also mess with me sometimes too. They tell me that if I want to stop men, certain kind of men coming through here, they got a joke out. They tell me if they want me to guard my office, then I need to be setting up some bombs, some traps. I said, yeah, y'all knew I grew up with some younger brothers and some cousins and uncles, so y'all mess with me, and they just cracking up at me. And I say, yeah, because I'm just thankful that I'm in the mode of where my grandmother and my mother, both my grandmothers and my mother, was at, you all, because they were women that were very protected too as well, by our brothers and sisters. And that's the reason why I say it's just so important, you all, for us to not give up, because you never know what you're doing. You could be transferring over to your children. Um, just because we don't know the time and the season, it does not mean that it can't wind up passing down to them at some point. No, no, it's not. Oh, yes, yes. She's saying thank you. LaShonda saying thank you all so much for the prayers for her testing. She's going for the breast cancer test that she's having, and uh, I want to be able to help you with that. I know you. If you're able to afford it, I know that you would, or situation, I don't know what it is. I just feel glad to just offer to make sure, because that is a very serious. I do need to do another segment on breast cancer. Um, I kind of held back some because I didn't like that the breast cancer run, this information I had was taken down, as you all know. And that's very sensitive to me, because I know how important it is for. Doesn't matter. We got a lot of content out here. It doesn't matter when it comes down to the people, and the way we do this. And if we're really saying that we're doing this from a righteous place, then nothing that is good for you all should ever be tampered with. And so I do, but it's also an opportunity. Thankful that I'm able to see it on both angles. It's also an opportunity for me to do it from the heart and where I'm from, instead of feeling any pressure to bring it to you in any other kind of way than from the original, genuine way that God has given to me to share the things and the details of what we need to do as women for our health, because no man, nobody else understands the complexity of the body of the woman the way the woman does. This is the reason why we were the first herbalists and healers, and those who went out and gathered the land. And we can date that back to all the way back to Africa, where the women were. The women was never put on the back burner when it came down to healing. But I noticed here in America that it's a problem where you do see a lot of, even though we have the internet, if you notice, they're not allowing our black women go viral with us teaching about health and wellness, at all. They're only porting out the men. Yeah, yeah, and that's not to downplay our good men that have good information. But there is a reason why they're putting us in the back burner, you all, and that is not just and it's not fair. Um, because a man does not know a woman's body better than a woman, and neither does a woman know a man body better than a man does. Make it make sense. And so that's why, I speak the way I speak sometimes. I don't meaning to be funny. I mean to be serious and intentional about what's just and what's not. Um, because, sister, I know you've been following us for a while and you have that information, or maybe you haven't. And but I understand the mental the stress that comes when you're a working class woman such as yourself, and then you're trying to gather in all this information, and then stuff go missing, and and God leads you to who you believe that is able to help you, and then there you go. Because we have personal issues within our own lives. Yeah, I'm telling you like it is. It's late now, so anybody that's tuned in now, hey, you just get the extra nuggets. But anybody that's in there taking out that, then you already know that the heart is not right in that area, because this is it's not enough of us. It's not enough of us. And I don't believe that it's just because the women are not supporting each other. I don't believe that. It's not that. No, it's not. It's just that they are allowing a certain kind of woman to want. They want the sex appeal woman. They want not just a cute face, and they want only the women that is pushing the men forward. And so when health and wellness is not supposed to be about a gender base at all in that way. Never is supposed to be about that. And it's not because someone knows more than somebody else does either. We have, just like we have tons of um, um, nurses and herbalists, and all the schools that I know, it's 80, practically 90% of nothing but women that's graduating from this. All the nutritionists that I know, even though they might be even caught up in the satanic American diet, they're all women. So why isn't that I'm not seeing more of our women that's teaching in this area and that's going viral, if that be the case? It's not, then all of them are not like me where they're not into, techie savvy. That's intentional, you all. That's intentional. And so you all I appreciate you all for hey there, Sister Diane. It's so good to see you. You finally got in here, huh? That's intentional, and we have to be help one to another. That's what I'm trying to say, because sometimes the adversary, a lot of times too much, the adversary gets in the way, and um, we just don't have a lot of room for selfishness or egotisticalness when it comes down to healing our people. We don't have no room. And I mean that for everybody, including myself. We don't have room for that, because lives have been lost. That's why I shared with you all beforehand, early on, back then. So you don't, those you all that's catching the end part of this, go back and you'll see where I shared some nuggets with you all. Um, but about my cousin, we didn't have time. I I can't afford. I speak for myself. I can't afford to play with people's life and to make this just about relationship, or only about who got this and who doesn't, or how many likes now, who's famous and who's not. I can't afford to do that. I didn't start off helping my people based off of that. The internet wasn't even, this social media wasn't even a thing when I started to help our people in the natural health and wellness. I can bring my auntie or put her on the phone now, and she'll tell you that. And that's woman been knowing me before I came out the womb. This is what I've been doing all my life. So I can't afford to play games or allow hurt and pain and distress and all these other issues stop me or block someone else from getting this type of help where they really truly can able, where they're able to receive it at. I can't afford, because it could cost you your life. And that's how all of us that claim to want to see our people healthy and well should know. There's none of us that should not be able to work with each other, unless there is something else going on that's not just, that's not righteous. It's too less of us to compare to all of our sick people that are out here. We are outnumbered. The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. And it's been before all this is said and done, I am going to bring together a lot of our people, but only those who's not egotistical and narcissistic, because we don't have the room for it. And more people will get healed because of the spirit of love, genuine love that we have. And I know that sounds so corny when we got this stuff thinking that it's just all about just how professional stuff look. No, I do professionalism stuff. I try to make it look nice because that's what I like to see. And because I don't like it being a hindrance about whether or not something is original and authentic, because we already got enough of our people that doubt it when it comes from black owned people that's doing it that's black. Yeah, I said it. We already got enough of that going on. If we late with shipment or we not doing, we already got enough hindrances in that area. We got enough of our people that's going to the pharmaceutical drug industry and having to come back in worse conditions when they're on their last leg, or in the case of some of my loved ones, they just, when it's just too late. So I can't afford to sit back and be waiting on for, and my heart is not set up like that, and you have the issue and I know of you and I know that you've been a help, and here it is. Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to send that $100. I can't afford that. I have to go by the heart of what God tells me to do. When there, I'll get the blessing some type of way. I'll get it. I have that much faith because I put in the work that I'm going to get that blessing some type of way. But I'm sitting here and I know you, and I know you're doing your best to try to listen, try to follow, try to, yeah, I can connect with that. So no, I mean, but I know we just live in a time. Hey, is that my cousin? Looks like my cousin possibly chiming in. We just live in a time where they've made everything about imagery and money only. And I'm not saying that it doesn't take that. Absolutely, it takes that. But the way we do this thing, called health and wellness and warning and healing, you heal from the mind. We heal from energy too. We heal from energy. We heal from hearing. There is a sound wave that goes beyond just us being loud. And I'm not saying that just to go, because see, I grew up hearing preachers preach all the time with loudness. And both other people still go back out and do the same thing that they've been doing, because it became entertainment at that point. Even though the preacher could be preaching something that really made a lot of sense at the time, but people are able to connect to whether or not it's coming from a really healthy place. See, and me being a songstress and playing instruments, I'm trained to hear that. The only way I've noticed that I can't is just like when I'm playing my congos and when I'm doing my drums, like I'm going to do tonight, because I do have to go and support a sister that's got together. See, I'm bound to say I don't even got time to mourn, because I got to be there for my sister that's on the board with me. She represents love. So I'm going to stop in for a little bit, and I'm going to give her a little Congo thing tonight and show some love. But that's healing for her because she just lost her brother. And so I don't have time to sit back and mourn without knowing that my sister is looking to, just for her to see my face and support. I know that that's healing to her. But I can't just go, girl, you know what? Because you 20 pounds over, I'm just going to give this. I'm going to give you this, how to eat to live, and you be blessed. Can't do that. It's more to healing than that. It's more to it than just telling you, you know what? Just take that sea moss. It's simple like that for some people. But breast cancer is attached to, if there is a real, true diagnosis of inflammation in the breast of women, I can tell you this much. It is linked to heartache. It is linked to stress. Not just what you eat, I'm gonna leave that right there for now because I'm gonna save it for when I do another segment on it. How about that, ladies? It's attached to that all the way through, whether it be through death in the family, whether it be through broken relationship, whether it be through childhood trauma. We hold it in our chests, you all. We hold it. It stops right there. Those stress cells stop right there. And there's supposed to be a circulation that's going on there. It's not just clotted only through dried up milk or just through your ding dong. No, we got enough adrenaline that can burn through that. How else do you explain that most of us are still alive to have breasts? Even though it's millions that's done left here, but it's more of us that's surviving without it than it is that those of us who are dying from it. Okay? Yeah. So I look forward to our session. Sister, I just wanted to say that. I live in the moment. Charlotte, is that my sister-in-law? I'm gonna get you. Is that living on where I didn't know you had. Is that my sister? I'm gonna get you. Is that my sister? That's my sister. That's my sister. I can't call her sister in law. I gotta call her sister in love. Cause she know I love her. Was raising those babies together, and I'm so glad my brother was fretful enough for me and knew and believed in me enough to know that I'm telling you, you messed this up, boy. I had to put that big sister cap on. You messed it. Y'all be that's our job with y'all as women. Even if you ain't got it for yourself. Because he's a workaholic and he takes care of his family. And I don't you let her do what she gotta do. She gonna make it through them births. She gonna make it. I see. I see the strength in her. So I'm thankful 20 some years later. My nieces and nephews, they've all graduated, and I posted two of them. It's crazy. We talk about our daughters, how her two daughters take after doing the things that I like to do. Her two, but they look more and act more like me. And my daughters seem to act like and look more like to me. And I'm like, ooh, isn't that something? Has your jeans off? Isn't that something? But nevertheless, she's been one that's on her health and journey, her health and wellness journey as well. And so you all keep my entire family in your prayers because they were also close with my cousin Toby Ingram that just transitioned on yesterday. They live right across, right around the corner from each other, um, and she was something precious to all of us. And so just note that I love you all. And unless there's any other questions, I am going to go ahead and tune out because I do have to be there, you all, to support my sister for her gathering. She's had a rough time as well. Um, my God, sister, she's had a rough time, and I want to grace her with something positive to bring her spirits up. Okay. Yeah, and thanks so much again, you all. The Cash App information is in there for those who sent the Cash App. It's a blessing, it's a help, um, and I pray that you all, Dr. Chef, is yes, ma'am. That's what I. If you go back into this video, Sister Diane, I did address that. I know it's a lot. Go back into like the first 30 minutes, and then I address what has taken place because I know you're probably not aware because I have not posted it on Facebook. And so we can go from there. Yes, ma'am. All right, you all. I love you all. Keep me in prayers. I am going to go ahead and tune out of here. I pray that I was able to answer a lot of you. Welcome, sister. I am going to tune out of here and get ready for the last session of my evening and go from there. I look forward to seeing you all very soon. And yes, I'm not giving up on Faithful and Fitness Friday. I'm just trying to narrow down exactly what it is that I want to do here because it's so much that I can do here. Okay, so just bear with me. Y'all know it's coming. I got to do this thing. It's coming. It's coming. Okay, I love you all and have a blessed and beautiful night and weekend. Until next time, Motivational Monday. If not Friday, you all will see. Keep a lookout on Friday. If I'm able to do it this Friday, then I will post it up for you all. And remember to be healthy more in 2024. I love you all. Bye bye.